Okay. Are we live? What up, ladies and gents? It's your favorite Asian robot right here. Hopefully your favorite official content creator, The First Descendant. And we are here to talk about what's gonna happen. So, let's find out what the people think. It's gonna be a poll day today, so let's have a good one. Alright, my usual goal is set. Now, we'll get the polls started in a minute. First, I'll tell my human beings that I'm alive. I'm still alive. I'm still alive. I'm still alive. Okay, there we go. Okay, boom, done. Now, to tweet. There we go. Boom. Tweet also done. We're good. Hello, John. Ultimate Blair is later this month on 17th of April. He's not a concern right now. Right now, we're focusing on tomorrow's patch. If you're not sure about it, please check the official Discord to figure out what we're discussing today. Alright? Ultimate Blair, later in the month. Everybody already knows the release date. There's an update note, but all it says is balancing adjustments to Descendants. That's why there's going to be a poll today. I want to see what the people think. Do they think there's going to be nerfs or buffs? We'll find out. So, what do you guys think will happen tomorrow? Well, you guys will get a chance to vote on what you think. And of course, my polls always have a joke option, just for those that want to screw around a little bit. All right, poll set up. Let's go. Well, I think that they should buff male characters for sure, but at the end of the day, you know, whether or not they're actually going to do that, we'll have to find out. You know, they may not. There's always room for them to say, nah, we don't want to. Let me think about it for a second. Nah. There's always room for them to do that, unfortunately. But c'est la vie. It's life. Listen, everybody wants Ultimate Jeremy. Well, just say what you think. It's cool. I mean, a lot of people have been thinking it's going to be the Ines nerf tomorrow. I guess we'll see. Well, Savage Sage King, I mean, at the end of the day, if you want a Ajax buff, you got to make some noise in the official Discord and on Reddit. I think if not enough people want it, it won't happen. More people want swimsuits than an Ajax buff. Forgive me for saying. Ain't nobody want to see an old man get powered up. James Douglas, you think that Jaber is going to rise to the top? Maybe, you know. Well, you know, swimsuits are great. You know, I kind of expected that statement from a person with the name Drinking Judy's Water. You know, if the hot springs were still around, I'm sure you'd be slurping that too. So 6, tomorrow there's going to be an update like there always is. Because you're on TikTok, if you do not know what's coming, go to the official Discord, check out their announcements. Main discussions on YouTube. I mean, look, I call him like I see him, alright? You know. If a guy is going to write drinking Judy's water as their name in chat, then you know what's up, all right? Well, I think they should too, Savage Sage, but again, how many people are making noise about that? Well, Sky Arts, I don't think that'll be happening anytime soon. Melee weapons or a collab? Don't think so. Not right now, anyway. But we'll see. We could be pleasantly surprised. You never know. Well, Joe, I mean, that's how it is, you know? That's why a lot of people were against nerfs in the first place, because they invested in a character. It's not like you get the character, no modules, and they're great. No, you still have to learn how to build it and then make it good. You have to make sacrifices to make characters good. So a lot of people are like, why would they nerf anything that I put effort into? But it's just how it is, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I mean, this isn't Warframe, G Coolin, so I'm gonna say it straight. You want a galaxy or something, you're better off playing Warframe, because this ain't Warframe. We got one planet, that's good enough. Ooh, this is the wrong one. I hate this dance. There we go. Because she's overpowered, G, that's why. If you want them to not nerf it, then you gotta be on Reddit and the official Discord defending your favorite. Why aren't you talking to the people that want her nerfed? That's where you gotta be. You want things to stay the same, you gotta take the active action. You get what I'm saying? If you don't do that, they'll just do whatever. Well, Warframe sucks, but you still said that you wanted more maps like a galaxy. That's not gonna happen. We're defending a planet. We're not fighting in the galaxy. This is not Warframe. I said it already. Well, Axome, unfortunately, again, we don't know how they're gonna take it. This is the first time that they're nerfing, so we don't know what the result's gonna be. But again, I already said it before, but what are you guys doing to stop the criers? Well, I don't think Ultimate Glaze is gonna be touched, but depends on what people are crying about. Have you guys been to Reddit? Have you guys you know, talked in the official Discord? If not, then that's where you gotta be. You gotta see what people are saying. Now, I only get information from you guys, but I don't think anyone's mentioned Ultimate Glay being nerfed or anything like that, but we'll see. We don't know what'll happen tomorrow. But if you want to take a more active stance, get out there and, you know, that is a terrible joke. All right? You need to go drink more of Judy's water. That'll probably only happen next season, Trig. But again, whatever you guys want, say it in the official Discord, say it on Reddit, start talking to them, because that's where the devs are getting their feedback. So you got to be out there. What you want to see in this game, you say it on my stream. You know, I'm sorry, it's not going to go very far. All right, I'll hear it, and I'll be happy about that, but you really need to talk in the official channels, just so you know. Well, Silo, same thing. Have you talked about it in the official Discord? Well, Bandit, have you told them that? I'll keep throwing the same question back to you guys, because you guys need to go there and say it. Doesn't matter whether it's filled with art and fashion discussions, because you got to find those posts that they're listening to and go there. Hey Judy, you keep doing jokes, I'm gonna throw you out of chat, okay? Either participate in the discussion or you stay quiet. All right, we're having a talk here. That's not venting. That's just you talking nonsense, okay? So cool it or you get kicked out of the bar. All right, thank you for that. And we are discussing the update, yeah. We're discussing what we think might be in it. You can vent to a limit, but, you know, at the very least, say what you think and participate. The constant disconnecting is something I've heard about for the Xbox side of things, but I don't know how to solve that because it seems to be on their side. So if you're an Xbox user, Ballistic, have you let them know in the official Discord? If you have, good, because I know there's several other Xbox people that are going through the same thing, so it's not just you. And Bandit, okay, good. Hopefully they listen to you. Hopefully other people want it as well. Maxi Power, I have no idea what you're saying. If Inessa's attack will go through the walls, it's like signed her death. You might want to restructure what you're trying to say, man. What are your thoughts on the massive update coming in July, and what are your thoughts on old gen no longer getting updates? Well, July is a long way away. I don't care about it. I'm not going to think about it right now. I'm not even going to use brain power on it because it's stupid to talk about something that's that far away. People don't stay hyped for that long. And if they're hyped for that, then basically the rest of the season's a waste, which is going to cause player numbers to be like 5K before the next season drops. I don't want that, so I'm going to throw that out the window. As for old gen no longer getting updates, look, that's how it is. They should have done that sooner, because the more you focus around a smaller group of platforms and consoles that with better hardware that can handle what you want to put out, the easier it is to keep your game optimized. So hopefully that'll be a better thing. The World Boss update, as I mentioned, is more than 70 days away, so don't get hyped for it now. If you want to get hyped for it now, that's cool, but you're going to be still hyped in about 70 days? Yeah, that's the question I'll ask you. This is why I think it was a big mistake for them to talk about Season 3 so early. 70 plus days left in this season. You going to wait that long? You let me know. Well, Maxi Power, we'll see. I think even without her ability going through walls, it should be fine. That being said, again, we don't know what the actual nerf is going to be, so fair. I can see why some people might feel that she will be killed by that. Okay, fair enough, Ballistic. Yeah, I've heard that there's been issues on that front, so hopefully they do resolve it for you guys, because I do feel bad that you guys are suffering through that. Pretty much, Savage Sage King. That's why I don't even talk about it right now. Right now, I want to focus on the now. Well, I don't know what they'll do. We'll have to find out tomorrow, but thank you for sharing your thoughts, Max Power. I hope the patch sorts it as well, because they really should. This is quite an annoying issue. For sure. I agree on that. It is quite a problem. Well, that's what a lot of people are saying, that her power might be brought down to Freyna's level, but Freyna's level is still damn strong. So let's see what happens, because guess what? Freyna can actually go through walls. So fine, they can bring her power level down to Freyna's level. She's still gonna kick ass, especially with my build. I'm maxed on most of my characters, but I just play what's efficient. So whatever you see me playing on stream is what you should be using. You don't have to bother beyond that. I do occasionally, if I've got spare time, work on some other characters, but not right now. My focus right now is just on what's most efficient. Just do those things and slowly build up the rest. Don't worry, there are no stupid questions, only stupid people. I answer all questions, most of the time. If I don't answer a question, it's because there's usually a video on it. Foxarello, what's up?
This is HQ.
Well, we'll see whether or not there's any balance to the game tomorrow. I'm hoping so.
Standby position. Best of luck, Descendant.
I would certainly be a fan of balance. Balance is good. Balance is good. Balance is great. Where's my dog? Why do I not have a dog? Okay, sorry, gotta return to Albion. Damn it. Forgot I didn't save the dog yesterday. Damn it. I would probably say, Syra, that yes and no. Although I can see that it won't kill her completely, but it's gonna kill some utility. Okay, because there are a lot of areas, and I just want to say this just to be fair to everybody. There are a lot of areas in this game where the terrain is very annoying. You'll actually see this. Now, even though Ultimate Sharon can go through walls, her blades, if you've played her area suppression is very, very locked. It's very range locked, so let's say there's an enemy on a slightly higher ground, all right? If Inessa's thing is blocked by terrain, then her chain lightning not being able to cross that can create a lot of annoyance, because it's just going to make her inefficient. You see, so it depends on how they do it. I don't feel that, you know, her ability to go through walls should have been targeted in the first place, because that was absolutely the dumbest thing to correct her. Because what is there to correct? Let me ask the question. What is there to correct? There is nothing to correct in any way, shape, or form about that, because it is irrelevant. Whether she can go through walls or cannot go through walls or whatever with walls, you know, there is no relevance to her killing power. The problem with Ines is just that she, or so people said, was that she killed faster than everybody else. But so what? So what? It's not like Freyna can't do it. And even if they want to bring her power level down to Freyna's level, so what? She's still going to have Freyna's power level, which is pretty damn good. I think that they should leave everything alone. I think that they should focus on underpowered characters. That's my take. Because people already table flipped when the nerf was announced. Nerf didn't even happen, but you know what happened on the first day of Season 2? All the morons who didn't even watch the patch notes video, they came to me saying, RealAsianRobot, how's Ness after the nerf? Did you know that Ness has been nerfed? Man, I quit because Ness got nerfed. And I'm thinking in my head, homie, there was no freaking nerf. Did you watch the patch notes? Did you see my stream? Because she's not nerfed. I can walk around right now and do everything that I was doing with the Ness beforehand. So let me ask again, what nerf? Because people will be people. And people are panicky, stupid animals. Oh, I'm sorry. Does anyone get offended at being called an animal? Because guess what? I'm going to say it again. People are stupid, panicky animals. And they are going to keep being panicky animals because that's what they do. They panic, and I don't blame them. Because at the end of the day, nobody likes their something that they've invested time in to be removed or have their power taken away. Nobody likes that. So if they do this, it's not going to look good. That being said, they might still go ahead with it, and we'll figure out a way forward. Because that's what we do. So let's find out. There's no need to panic. There's no need to panic beforehand, but we'll just have to wait and see what is the final result.
Down. RK receptor, confirming signs of life.
Everyone loses their minds for everything. But you're not supposed to use an S against Colossi.
Shield at 0%.
That's what Haley's for. In fact, Ines was not really that great of a bosser. If people were using her against Colossi, they're wasting time, at least in my opinion. Because not only is Serena faster, so is Glay, so is Haley. You know, so that I'm not too upset about. I just want to make sure her mobbing is perfect. Like it was before. But again, I think nerfs are bad. Yeah, Defiler was the only place where Ines was even borderline relevant, and even then, you know, Glay came out and just did it better. I think it's the people, like I said, Austin, I don't actually think it's the people who main a Descendant that are complaining. I actually think it's people who don't even play the game that are complaining. What they see is what a couple of people, like a small vocal minority, what a lot of these people see is that they've, like a small number of people have complained about this, and it's actually people, like I said, from other games that don't actually play the game. They're just trying to make the issue seem bigger than it is. Because I think the devs get too panicky. I think that these people, they know our devs. They know that our devs care too much about the community. And that's why, like, it could be people from other games. And I don't want to point fingers, but quite frankly, I do think some of them are Warframe trolls, some of them are Destiny trolls. They're probably the ones who are literally exacerbating the issue. Because I think that they don't want this game to have a chance of getting good. And it can make it seem like the squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? But in actuality, it's just one or two people complaining, and then a lot of the other people are just, you know, talking rubbish. Because as far as I know, I haven't seen anybody complain about the fact that, you know, I literally got them through a boss fight in 2 seconds. So it makes no sense to me. To me, I think it's silly. I think that somebody just doesn't want us to have a good time. You know, and I hope that the devs can understand that, because if they truly do nerf tomorrow, they better be prepared for the consequences. They better know what they're getting into. All right? Because they're not gonna have a great time after this. Trust once broken is hard to get back. I mean, I'm here, ride or die, whatever. You know, I'm here for you guys. But the devs better think hard about what they want to happen here. By the way, guys, please don't forget to like the stream if you haven't already.
Shield at 0%.
The more you guys like the stream, the better. Of course, Warfighter, I fully agree with that. I think everybody wants the underused characters to get a buff, you know? I'm not expecting them all to be at Ines level, but hey, give me some use here, you know? Even in fact, Blair doesn't need that much of a power-up to be competitive. Like, give him some slightly reduced cooldowns and costs, and I'll tell you, he's gonna do great. I don't know if it's gonna be a big patch. We'll have to see tomorrow. I'll check it live, because as far as I can tell, let me just quickly check for you so I can verify this. And it's going to be a maintenance-free patch. It's going to be a maintenance-free patch, as far as I can tell. Okay? I could be wrong. I could be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure it is a maintenance-free patch. Let me just check when is PDT time, because it says here it's scheduled for, can anyone verify this in the Discord? It's scheduled for midnight PDT. So PDT time, right now it's 7:51 a.m. for them in PDT. All right, that's yeah, 7:51 a.m. So in about another 12 hours, okay, be 7:51 p.m. and then it's gonna be another 4 hours from there. So 4 hours from 11, yeah, 3 p.m. my time. So it should be 3 p.m. my time tomorrow morning. Yep. So it is midnight PDT, which is the same time it always is. That I'm not so sure either about it, Exome. They should rotate the Abyss Colossus a bit more, in my personal opinion. Rebelera? Yes. Yes. I do rewrite, adjust the lyrics, and if anyone wants to check out some more of my music, please make sure you check out both my YouTube and SoundCloud. I use AI to generate the music, but a lot of the lyrics come from me. You'll probably see it a lot more with my next metalcore EP. Hello, Sento. I hope so too, Lewis. It'd be nice to use some of the other descendants. Keelan and Valby would be big on my list. Valby, not so much, because Valby's pretty strong already. A little bit of a range buff on her would be perfect. A bit of a range and duration buff on her, and it would be perfect. Maybe a bit of cost as well. But yeah, we'll see, we'll see. Viessa is terrible though, Chris. Nobody uses Viessa. She's 2 minutes slower than even Keelan. So Viessa just does damage, but even when it comes to bossing, no, Viessa is in desperate need of a buff. Last time we used Viessa in the boss fight, it took so long to actually kill anything. You may as well just brought out Haley and just two-shot the boss. Nobody cares about Jaber. I'll be real with you. Listen, Market Day, clean stream policy, okay? You want to walk that statement out of here, or else I'll have to walk you out of here, sir. Yeah, she can hit hard, but she's still utterly useless. It doesn't matter how hard you hit if you're a wheezing asthmatic when it takes time to completion, because nobody likes to take 10 years to complete something. She's got outclassed now. She got outclassed in range and casting time. I'll tell you, if she had double her range now, everybody would use Viessa instead. Because the problem is her skills, like you gotta cast one, then you gotta cast two, and then you gotta cast the ult. And like by the time you cast all that, things aren't dead because her range is like teeny tiny. Like give her like, let me go storm level ham and cast it on the whole screen, yo. Why not? Jaber doesn't exist. What are you guys talking about? Don't lie to me. Jaber's not a character. That's just Jeremy's younger brother. Well, we'll see what kind of buffs Blair gets, though. Exactly.
This is Hound Action.
Listen, you double Viessa's range, I will only play Viessa. I will play Viessa exclusively for like 3 streams. If they ever buffed Viessa's range and made it double, okay, I will exclusively play Viessa for 3 streams, and I will happily show everybody what she can do. The devs got my word on that. Now, of course, I'm sure they favor other creators over me, but yeah. Trig, have you seen my Serena build for farming and leveling? Why don't you go take a look at that video before asking that question? Do not ask a question if a video already exists. And if you haven't checked out the videos, then that's your homework first. One thing about this stream is that this stream is for discussions, gameplay, all that kind of stuff. But builds, questions like that, you gotta watch the videos, man. And I don't send people there for fun, just in case anyone's thinking that. Or in case you're new to the channel, maybe you haven't discovered me before. The reason why we do that is so that y'all can learn the right way. We try to teach people the right way here. So if you haven't seen my videos, I suggest you go watch those first. Well, that unfortunately is nothing for me to comment on, my friend. Yeah, there's a lot of videos. You better watch it all. That's how this works. You want to get good at the game? Go check it all. Can't watch it all? Sorry. You gotta make the time, buddy. Focus on the latest videos, then go backwards. That's what I would do, but that's how it works here. Blame the devs for making a game that's complex. I might a little bit later. I tried it before, but not together with Firing Fiesta. But we shall see. I mean, it's not like it doesn't work. I have tried it before.
Inside a nearby RK receptor.
And you know, the whole server raging already happened when they announced the Ines nerfs. I mean, people literally told me they were quitting the game because of Ines's nerf that hadn't even arrived yet. Well, we shall see. Later. There's nothing wrong with a challenging game, but I think you underestimate, Market Day, how much people cry when there's any challenge in the game. Think about it. They introduced Tormentor, and everybody already cried that it's too hard. They introduced Void Erosion Purge. How many people made my build? Yeah, but here's the thing. They're saying that they might nerf Serena as well. You know? And all these stupid news websites. I saw some stupid article by some very stupid people yesterday. They all said like, "Oh my God, Serena's also gonna get nerfed." I'm like, you don't have any facts for that. Nobody said that. Nobody's been talking about it yet, but yet here we are. You know? So we'll see. We'll wait and see. Who knows? Maybe they'll nerf Serena tomorrow as well, and then people are gonna rage even more. So that's why I hope the devs know what they're doing. But at the end of the day, I mean, you can say they won't be missed, Dave, but at the end, but those are still part of the player base. Whether they're missed or not, the thing is, people don't like their toys getting taken away. So have the devs properly thought about the consequences of their actions? I hope they have. Yep, that is the best way. We don't need to think about it until it all happens. I mean, it's okay for us to debate it. Obviously, that's what we do. We just talk, debate, chill. You know, that's cool. Like, that's what we do. You know, we're here to talk, debate, find out, you know, what everybody thinks and everything like that. Like, that for me is fine. You know, I like that. That's what we're here to do. We're here to talk, you know, work through the issues, see how everybody's feeling. And also, it gives you a good idea of what the player base is thinking. I mean, if you look at the polls right now. Look at the polls right now with 93 votes. 27% of people think it's going to be buffs. 23% of people think it's going to be nerfs only. 38% of people think it's going to be both buffs and nerfs. This is the average option. 13%, of course, there's always a portion of people that'll pick the joke option. So about 10 people went for the ultimate Jeremy option, okay? I'm glad you guys are having fun. But we look at the main thing is that the majority, and although it's not a wide, big majority, the majority think that there's going to be both buffs and nerfs. All right, some people are 26% of people optimistic, 24% of people super pessimistic. You know, you get that. But yeah, the game is PvE, and yes, there are a lot of weapons to make things easier. But you see, here's the problem. Here's the problem. A lot of folks, they don't understand this. Where the disconnect? Hey Joe, how's it going? where the disconnect appears to be happening for a lot of these people is that they don't seem to want to build it. You know, the other day I was talking to a guy. I was talking to a guy that said to me, he says to me, oh, you know, like, how do I do all the things that you can do in the game? I'm like, you just build the stuff, man. The builds are here. Oh, but that takes so long. I have to go and get catalysts and stuff. I'm like, so what? You just wanted to walk into a game, you build a Descendant, and all of a sudden they're God. You see, there are these people that don't want to make the builds, so they complain about challenge. Then on the other hand, you've got people that, you know, they get their challenge taken away by the bunny or the Serena or Ines running ahead of them, and then they whine and complain despite the fact that they chose to go in public. Why didn't they just go solo? Or they could have organized their own team, but they're not going to do that. Player versus environment, Emmanuel. It's a short form. Player versus environment means that you fight against AI opponents only, like computer opponents, not a real player. PvP, player versus player, means that you're fighting a real opponent. So it's impossible to satisfy everybody because a lot of these people, they don't want to put in effort. There's that section of people that don't want to put in any effort into the game, and on the opposite side, there's other people who want this game to be pretty much Elden Ring. All right, on crack, which is also not going to happen. I always take you guys back to one case, you know. I have already told you guys what happened. When the Void Erosion Purge was released, what happened day one? Everybody came to this stream and they started saying some shenanigans like, oh my god, Void Erosion Purge is so hard, this is not fun because I can't beat it and I don't know how, and you know, you'd think that they were, yeah, y'all ever seen The Punisher? Yeah, you'd think that they were going through John Berthel's flashbacks like, no, this challenge is too hard, no, my family. You know, it's kind of like that. Because that's what I'm seeing there. That's what I'm seeing there. Yeah, I'm seeing these people literally get PTSD, apparently, from just having a small amount of challenge in the game. Next updates tomorrow, Arrow John. If you want to participate in the discussion, we're having a big discussion on YouTube right now. I'm sorry, unfortunately, TikTok doesn't get a lot of that functionality, but hi. Yeah, we're talking about the potential updates or nerfs or buffs tomorrow. We don't know what's going to happen. We're just debating and having a discussion on YouTube right now. Hey, Unc. No, literally, you guys are laughing right now at my joke, but I'm telling you, people went into Void Erosion Purge. All right, people took a look at Void Erosion Purge, and the first thing they were having is like, they were having some kind of like Punisher flashback from being in a war. They were like, no, I can't do it. No, I can't do it. It's like, you know, you could literally hear John Berthel's voice in the background, like, you know, like this is what happened. Like, they did not want to try anything, and we literally worked through it. Do you know how many days I spent at freaking Void Erosion level 26 because my Ines couldn't get through it, and I didn't want to build up Glacius yet. Last Dagger wasn't in the game yet. So finally I made it to 27. Okay, I used 27 to farm the rank 10 cores. Then from 27 I went up to 28, and I finally said, okay, now I can farm 28 because I got my restored relic. Then I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to change my restored relic every time to go through. It was really hard. Then finally I got to stage 30, and the Last Dagger dropped, and stage 30 became easy mode, which is fine. But then people still didn't want to make the Last Dagger, all right? No, people still didn't want to make Glade. They didn't want to make the Last Dagger. They didn't want to do anything. They're like, why can't I do it with Bunny? I'm like, because, sir, excuse me, sir. Listen, sir. Did you read the patch notes, sir? If you read the patch notes, did you know that it was stated very clearly in the patch notes that skill damage is reduced in the Void Erosion Purge? Sir, I want you to read that back to me. Skill damage is reduced in the Void Erosion Purge. We got that, sir? Okay, sir? All right, skill damage is reduced in the Void Erosion Purge. Do you understand that, sir? But why can't I use Bunny? And that's the response that I was getting. Okay, so it's very, very hard to actually tell people this, because guess what? Skill damage, in case you guys did not know, and I told you guys to check my patch notes videos, starting from stage 21, okay? Although it's not shown here, there is a reduction in the amount of skill damage. It's a hidden value that you will not see, because I don't see any way of showing you guys this. But every stage, there is more reduction. By the time you get to here, you're dealing like minus 200% of your damage. Hence the problem. Ines can function up to 27 now, but going beyond that, you're dealing with like minus 250% damage. So like, what are you supposed to do? You know, you have to use a gun. you're supposed to use a gun. Now that we can see stuff for Colossi, let me just show you. Did you know that Colossi have different values for their skills and damage? Let's take a look at Molten Fortress. Let's take a look. Okay, firearm critical hit resistance for Molten Fortress is 27. Did you know that Molten Fortress has more firearm critical hit resistance than it does for skill critical hit resistance? But you go on to Gluttony, and oh my god, it's different. He has 70% skill critical hit resistance and 27% firearm critical hit resistance. And you guys already know how this works because I have a video on it, right? So you take a look at this and you say to yourself, oh, so I need to adapt to the situation. I can't just use skills for Gluttony. I need to use a gun. And that is what a person from the Robot Nation would do. A person from the Robot Nation knows, ah, yes, Robot taught me this. Therefore, I must adapt to the situation. I am a soldier. I understand what to do. But what about the people that don't come here? The people that don't come here, you know, what they're going to see is they're not even going to look at this information. Okay, they're just going to see Gluttony. Yes. Okay, I'm going to go into Gluttony with a nest right now. And then they'll go in there. And then as soon as Gluttony rips their shit because they brought a skill-based descendant, like let's say Viessa. You remember those days when people brought Viessa into Gluttony? What's going to happen? Punisher flashbacks, ladies and gents. You're going to get the Punisher flashbacks. All right? No, 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 don't do this, don't do this, don't bring Viessa. That's what's going to happen. You're going to see that. You're going to get flashbacks every single time. So what are people going to do about the flashbacks? They're just going to go in private. Because they're not going to waste time carrying a bunch of nerds through this. I mean, I can. I can kill this in 2 seconds with Serena. But the point is, most people aren't going to do that. So there you go. Market day, I don't look at the leaderboard because you want me to show you guys something? You want me to show you guys something? All right, I'll show you guys something. Y'all want to see something? Y'all want to see some shit? Let me show you some magnificent shit. Okay, y'all are not gonna like this, and you know I'm probably gonna get a hitman put out for me because you know that's how serious people are about leaderboards. I mean they like to cheat, right? Okay. Let's take a look at the leaderboard. Serena. Where is she? Yeah. 1 minute and 5 seconds for stage 30. Okay, 1 minute and 5 seconds. Let me prove something to you guys real quick. Okay. I want you to watch this. Keep your eyes glued to the screen. I'm gonna show you something. Oh, people just like glory, and quite frankly, they like to cheat. But let me just show you something, guys. Okay, y'all don't talk about it for a second. Just watch. I want you guys to keep your eyes glued to the screen because I'm gonna show you something. Okay? No. Just listen. Don't say anything. Just watch it. Nobody cares about it, but just watch this. I want you guys to keep your eyes glued to the screen. Okay? Keep an eye on the timer. Okay? Watch something. Okay. Watch my timer. This map is a loop. Okay? This map is a loop. So we're gonna do something. Okay. This is with him giving me a movement speed boost, FYI. Watch this. Watch this very, very closely. Are you keeping an eye on my timer? Keep an eye on the timer, okay? Keep an eye on the timer. This map is a loop. So I have to go all the way around back, and the boss fight happens in the first room again. Okay, but are you keeping an eye on the timer? Do you see where my timer's at? Keep an eye on the timer. Okay, and we're going to be back at the first room now, right? And the boss fight takes place back here in this room again. You see that? So you're back here in the boss fight room. It took me 1 minute to navigate the whole map. Yep. So there's 100% cheaters in the leaderboard. They have no way of determining who's cheating and who's not. But come on, this is ridiculous. Are you telling me that they're killing every single thing in there in 5 seconds? Because you still have to fire a bullet from your gun. So what? One shot from the bullet kills them. And you kill the boss as well. So listen, I'm not here to prove who's cheating and who's not. If they had implemented these leaderboards the original way, I would have said, okay, I will build every single build on that leaderboard, all right? And I'll audit the builds myself right here, right now. But they never did that. What they do is they have a leaderboard, so who cares about the timing? It means that any timing on the leaderboard is all bullshit. So there's no need to think. There's no need to worry about it. Ignore it. Hey, D-Russ, what's up? So, y'all saw it for yourselves, all right? Y'all saw it for yourself. I ain't saying anything. I ain't saying anything, you know, whatever. They said they could. Listen, Piyush, I'm not here to judge or comment. If you believe that that's legit, then that's cool. That's you. But yeah, you can't see the build. There's no detail. It just shows the person. That's it. So they never fix the... They should show the builds on the leaderboard. In fact, they should have a replay function because we should be able to audit. Because the fort's ability animation does take some time. So if you really think that 1 minute 32 seconds is legit, then okay, go ahead. You know, y'all believe what you want to believe. But I don't believe a single time on that board is legit. So it is what it is. And until they sort it out, then yeah. No, the thing is that they will, you know, prove it in a video. But I'm just gonna say, look, it is what it is. All right. If they have some methodology, then I'm not gonna talk about it. Either way, if they've got video evidence, that's up for them to prove. For me, I've shown you guys that literally just running through takes a minute. So even if 1 minute 32 seconds is legit, that means they killed everything in the game in 32 seconds. Okay. So listen, Piyush, I don't care about what video proof is out there. I leave it to Nexon. I've shown what I needed to show, and that's good enough for me. If there are legit times there, that's up to Nexon to figure out. That's up to the devs to figure out. Again, this is why leaderboards are bad for the game. Leaderboards are bad for the game if you cannot distinctly prove that they are true and correct. And even if they are, the same problem occurs. Do you guys remember when we first talked about leaderboards? What did I say? What did I say when the leaderboards first came out? I told you guys about... that's with a 4-man. We're talking solo, Piyush. With a 4-man, yes, it is possible. But that's only because you're running through with 4 people's damage, clearing everything. So, either way, Piyush, whatever the case is, you know, like I said, I leave it to the devs to determine it. You guys want to chase leaderboard timings, you go ahead and do that. 4-man, solo, whatever. I am not going to comment on that. I'm not here to debate it. If you want to debate it, I'm going to throw you out of stream. But I'm going to say it again. Okay, dude. I've shown what I needed to show. It's up to the devs to determine what is possible, what's not possible. I'll leave it to them. No problem, Lost Monkey. Just here to help. And again, coming back to the point that I made before, okay, I have spoken about this because, and you know what? Let's name the game this time. What is possible, what's not possible doesn't matter, because there was another game called Dauntless. I'm sure many of you remember it. It's a crappy Monster Hunter clone. They had a group of people that were always speedrunning trials. Trials used to be the same leaderboard game mode. You could get into the top 100 each week and you'd get a golden crown for your achievement. I quit that game because the community was racist, the devs were racist, they threatened me and my family. They allowed threats toward me and my family, threats of physical harm in their official Discord. And we had to fight them just for that, okay? I don't often talk about the issue because there's no sense in bringing up past drama. But I want to give an example of what's going to happen here. And I'm going to say it straight. Nobody talks about leaderboard in my stream because nobody cares. You want to talk about leaderboards, you can go enjoy a leaderboard stream. You can go watch another streamer. Don't ever bother me about them. Don't ever talk to me about them. Because do you know what killed that game? That game was killed because all the creators were part of the hate group and all they focused on was trial timings. There are people who could kill a monster in 15 seconds. How did they do that? Because in that particular game, there was a mechanic whereby if you break a monster part, you would get a certain number of seconds subtracted from your final kill time. So they would take 40 seconds to kill, but they would break certain parts using specially structured builds. But what they would have to do in order to get that timing is that they would literally have to run 40 hours of the same monster, memorize its perfect attack pattern, and execute everything in exactly the same way. Theoretically, you could do the same and hope for a lucky spawn of Grenadiers versus... Because the spawns are not consistent in Void Erosion Purge, FYI. If you run it again and again and again and again, you will have different timings each time because the spawns are not the same. Sometimes it could be a War Slave that spawns, or sometimes it could be a Grenadier that spawns. And this is the issue. So if you run it 40 times, you could get a very lucky spawn where everything is easy. Sure, okay, no problem. But at the end of the day, if you want to chase that timing, that's okay. But we're not here to talk about that because it benefits nobody. And also, when you try and showcase that kind of thing and make it seem that everybody else can do the same thing, it puts players off. That's the whole reason I was against leaderboards in the first place. However, what I said when the leaderboards were first going to come out is that, listen, the leaderboards could have been helpful if they actually showcased the builds, because why? That benefits the community, right? It benefits the community if everybody can see the builds. But not only have they not fixed that, but right now, we have no way of auditing the best timing. And if people are saying 1 minute 32 seconds is legit, then 1 minute should be legit as well. Maybe the guy just knows something you don't. Whether it's cheats, hacks, I don't know. I leave that entirely up to the devs. That is for them to sort out. That's not for us to debate. That's not for us to fight. But to me, if they're going to allow timings like that, and if that's their game and that's what they want to have on a leaderboard, it's not going to be a lot of fun. Do you know what has happened recently with Monster Hunter? Yeah. Do you know how seriously Capcom is taking their arena trials this time? Just today. And normally I don't like to bring up another game when I'm talking First Descendant, but I think this needs to be said because honestly, I'm kind of miffed that there's always people talking about leaderboards and that kind of bullshit. Take a look at the Capcom article. I'm going to actually put the link in chat. All right, here's the link in chat. Y'all can read it for yourself. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom, here's what Capcom, okay, has to say about Monster Hunter Wilds. And guess what? Monster Hunter Wilds is wildly more successful than this game. I love this game, but Monster Hunter Wilds has a much larger player base. Here's what Capcom has said. They are taking the time trials so seriously that anything, even if you're in a team with somebody that has committed a prohibited action, you might be legit, but how sure are you that the other guy is legit as well? How certain are you that your teammates, are they your blood brothers? You know, are you 100% certain that these guys are going to be with you through thick and thin? Because guess what? Now that there's this thing, I'm only going to be running with Arcane or Truffles or Phil or any of the other people that I trust to play this, because you can get banned if somebody else in your team is using a hack. How many times have top tier COD streamers been caught out for using aimbot, for using things like that? You wouldn't know. You wouldn't know. You're just on their team and like, man, this guy's so fantastic. Man, he aims like a god. You know, you could feel that way, but the end result could be that, you know, exactly. They tell you in Monster Hunter, if you suspect somebody of cheating, get the hell out of there. COD is full of cheaters. Monster Hunter with leaderboards was full of cheaters in previous iterations. That's why Capcom is taking strong measures now. What makes you think that First Descendant, just because we have a small player base, is not going to be full of cheaters? If you believe in your people, then go ahead. What's to stop a streamer or a content creator? I'm not going to name names, not going to say anybody, but what's to stop them from having perfect aim by them saying, oh yeah, I'm just really good at aiming, but what's to stop them from just turning on aimbot? I mean, this is a non-competitive game, so it's not like they're going to be banned for 10 years. Who's going to catch them for a simple aimbot? It's just a PvE game, you know? And maybe they have an aimbot that can't be seen on stream. It's quite easy sometimes, you know. Some people are really good at disguising their aimbots. I mean, COD cheaters take a while to get caught out. It is bad, Carlos, but that's why it's so dangerous. That's why I think most people are just going to do the trials solo. I'm going to do the arena trials only with Truffles or Arcane or somebody trustworthy. I'm not going to do either that or solo. Because, yeah, Capcom is taking it very seriously. Because this is what happens when you have a leaderboard. It's the problem of having a leaderboard. Once there is an ego in the game, that's what happens. So we shouldn't even be having this conversation right now. I'm going to say it straight to all of you. This is not a conversation we should be having in our game. And let's be real here. What is this game about? This game is about having the handsomest descendant or the cutest descendant and going around and absolutely blowing enemies out of the water. That's what this game was about. And now there's a leaderboard and people have to actually debate hacks, cheats. That wasn't what I signed up for. I signed up to literally play this game, show you guys builds, and have fun. My builds may not be the fastest or the best, but they're going to get you through it. So you can use them. I mean, I'm sure that there are other builders out there who are even better than what I do, because maybe they've got even more time to work out math that I don't have time to work out, you know? And that's fine. That's good. That's what the game was supposed to be about. Now there's a leaderboard and everybody's trying to say, I'm the top guy on the leaderboard. But what makes you think that he's not cheating? What makes you think that he is not using a program that you guys don't know about? Think about that person in COD who got caught later on Sniper Wolf. She wasn't even playing the game. Elon Musk talks about being a gamer, but how many times has he paid somebody to level up his Diablo 4 account? Or Path of Exile 2 account? How many times has Elon Musk done that? Because he's doing that right now, and he still says gaming day, and he shows himself as a gamer, but he's not even playing the game, right? I mean, dude, I like Elon Musk because Grok is an amazing AI that I absolutely love. But you don't, but like, yo, this causes toxicity. It doesn't help the community. It doesn't make your game greater. It just causes people to be pissed off because they'll see these people on the leaderboards getting ridiculous timings and they lose faith in the game. It doesn't make their faith stronger. What happened way back when in the game that I don't like to talk about was that I would make builds that would get people onto the top 100 leaderboards. And I would actually show them how it was done in one single run. I actually played blindfolded once because I could literally do that. Because I already knew the monster pattern. I said, okay, just do this here, just do that there. I played with my freaking eyes closed. And guess what? It worked. So that's what I used to do in the past. And that game had a much smaller community than this one does. And people were still cheating. People were still doing things to get themselves up top in unfair ways. It was silly, you know? It was silly and strange, but that's how it is. I like his AI though, Bandit. I gotta say, Grok is a fantastic AI. I've used Grok a lot for work. I find it better than ChatGPT, so I find Grok very useful, to be honest. But I don't respect Elon as a gamer. I want to see him actually do it himself. You know, like I said, there's been a huge history of people that have done unfair things in gaming to get an advantage. That's why for me, I don't worry about what other people do. I sit here and I just show you guys what I do. And I've said to people before, challenge me. You challenge me to do something I've done in a build video, I can show you that I can do the exact same thing that I did in the build video. No problem. You want me to run Void Erosion Purge right now? I can get about 3 minutes something. I know that my build is not perfected, but I can get around there. I think people will cheat anywhere, man. Anybody, some people just like an advantage, but that's how it is, man. Leaderboards do breed toxicity, but at the end of the day, like I said, you know, and I think I should just table this discussion now because this wasn't even our original discussion anyway. But I just want to say that at the end of the day, look, however we feel about leaderboards, we can just ignore them. That's why I don't talk about them. I don't allow discussion of leaderboards on my streams because there's no point. There's no point in talking about leaderboards or things like that. Don't worry about that. At the end of the day, I'm just here to have fun with you guys. You know, I like to talk to you guys, share my music and things like that. That's all I'm really here to do. I make some builds, you know, they work. Sometimes people tell me stuff's better, then I try it out. Like I'm about to go and try out some stuff in Tormentor, but that's what I do. I don't worry about leaderboards and things like that. Those who want to chase the timings, they go chase the timings. That's on them. I'm just here to help my audience and just do what I'm supposed to do. And that's all that should matter. And that's all that really matters. I'm not here to call out people. Like, that's why up until now, I haven't showcased the leaderboard thing. I knew about it for weeks already, but I just didn't bother. But the people who want to talk about it, like, you'll notice that it's always them wanting to defend their ego and things like that. But does it really matter? Like, who cares? Just go play the game. You want to cheat on a leaderboard? Go cheat on a leaderboard. Maybe you can also cheat on your wife. Whatever. I don't care. I'm just an honorable man. All right. I'm just here existing. There's a chatter on screen. Nice. I'm going to walk away from them now. But yeah, I mean, just do what you want to do, enjoy the game and have fun. That's what gaming is supposed to be about in the first place anyway. And now let me swap over. Oh, that's the wrong one. There it is. That's the one. Okay, we're good. We're good. Crit guns. Yep. Okay, we're good. We're good. I only use wireless right now because it's just easier and I don't have to worry about pulling out a wire. And this pair is so expensive, so I'm gonna use these until they break. I used to use a wired pair because I was doing rapping and making music, but now that I switched to AI music, I don't have to worry about that, so I just use wireless. You like the leaderboards? Like the leaderboards, FTG. I'm not gonna say that, but again, at my streams we don't discuss them. So if you like them, that's on you. Enjoy, but we just don't bring them up here because most of my YouTube audience, we don't want to kick off into a discussion about that. Cheap mics? I don't use cheap mics ever. Sorry. So I got no insight into that. I use only the good stuff. Thanks for respecting that, FTG. Like I said, and look, no shade to anybody. All right, I'm just gonna say this once, but if you like leaderboards and leaderboard timings, you should find a streamer that does leaderboards and leaderboard timings. Go enjoy them. You'll find that they're a much more better environment for you. But if you just want to chill, you just want to be a part of the community, then you can hang out here. That's totally fine. All right, but we strictly don't talk leaderboards. You do you, but I'll do me.
I need to go.
Yeah, I think my only issue with the Tenacious Hunter, I'm remembering now, Austin. I think the last time I tried this, the issue that I had was that it was more annoying for me to keep my thing on the weak point. So that's why I actually, now I remember, I actually swapped it over to this one, multi-piercing trigger, because I actually got better results with multi-piercing trigger because it didn't matter whether I hit the because it fed off of the fact that I was getting the buff, the natural Serena buff, and it fed off the fact that I didn't have to target the weak point. Yeah, you only have 3 seconds too. So, but from reload, so if you just, like for me, right, so I made an easier style of this. It won't get you the best time because the best time is if you reload right in the air and kill them exactly. But here is like the style that I developed later on, which is the lazier style, is you just sort of go up in the air. And you can just hover like that, right? And you can reload slowly, and then by the time you're done, right, it doesn't matter where you hit, like in general, you're still gonna kill it. So something like that. Yeah, so if you're carrying your new friend, this is why I would have used, like D-Russ was asking, I would have used the Ancient Knight. Because this way is much slower, but it's a guaranteed success. That's the only difference. People will always be toxic, I think, Bandit, unfortunately. But it's our job to plow through that. We have to just plow through it and have the conversations we want. We have to have those hard conversations. I know it's a lot of pressure on you guys, but that's the way it's got to be. Like, if you guys really want change, then that's the way it's going to be. Because I'll tell you, if you don't fight for change, if you don't fight for positive change, you know, no, you don't need magazine core. That will reduce your DPS, Kwong, and you'll actually do better. Hell, I should probably throw in a third fire rate core if I want to be really serious about it. If I change this to a third fire rate core, I think I could do even better than what I'm doing right now. I'm very tempted to, because right now the fire rate on this is like, sorry, I have to check from the info window. The fire rate is 1,700. I could get it to 2,000. You know, I'm thinking about it. I'm seriously thinking about it. And then I could possibly take this out for something else, but you know, doing that probably not a great idea. There are always ways to restructure your fire rate, stuff like that, so. Good morning, SSH. They just set a limit on it. Previously, there was no limit, so their anti-cheat software was just deleting bullets over a certain level. What they did was they just set a limit of 2,000. So now fire rate is capped at 2,000. You hit 2,000, that's the max you got. You can get any weapon's fire rate really high, but at the end of the day, is it really going to benefit you? Because fire rate without damage, you're just going to mag dump faster. There's always diminishing returns. If you pump one thing up too high, you're gonna lose out. Craig, all you need is my Glay and Last Dagger build, or you can even use Serena with the Malevolent. Any of the builds where I showcase stage 30, you can clear 28 and 29. Everybody just used my Glay and Last Dagger build in the past. Now you've got Serena, so just use the Serena and Malevolent. Easy peasy.
This is divine punishment.
If you need proof, I can show it to you right after. And that's kind of the difference. Here on stream, I can prove anything that I do.
A victory for humanity.
Ancient Knight can be pretty fun. Here, I'll show you. Yeah, no problem. Just follow the builds, man. As long as you follow the builds, but as a show of goodwill, why don't I just do it? I'll just do it and show you. So, I showed you guys the Serena Void Erosion Purge build, right? You guys have seen that, so we're gonna equip that. Okay, same build as before, same everything, whatever. I'm not even gonna change the element. It's gonna be harder because I didn't change the element, but whatever, it doesn't really matter. The enemy type, if I'm not wrong, in stage 28 is, let me just double check that for you. In stage 28, the enemy is Order of Truth, so you're gonna need electric. So just for a little bit of faster kills, we're just gonna put on electric rounds here. Okay, evolutionary cutting mechanism, the rest is the same. Okay, build, here you go. No, it's not tomorrow, it's on 17th April. So in we go. It's not gonna get you the fastest time, but it'll get you through it. Syra, for the leveling and farming build, yes. For the gun builds, not really. But you should get a matching reactor regardless, because you don't know what might change. They might choose to change something later down the line and might screw you over. So I would never make do with a reactor. I think reactors these days are just too important. It's best to get one that properly suits her. And Kwang, I leave that decision up to you. A lot of people swear by the Albion cavalry gun. Look, if you like it, build it. Or, you know, some of the leaderboard chasers, they mention that it's the best gun ever. I'm like, okay, whatever. I just use what I want to use. So, your choice, man. I use Malevolent, but that's me. Okay, so, sorry I cannot give you a better answer. I would love to if I could, but, you know, this is just what I do. Okay, so that's that. As you can see, I've got the wrong element on, but it's still good enough, alright? This is stage 28 right there. And you might die, so please be careful. Alright, cast your one regularly. Heal yourself.
My shield has been damaged. My shield. Let me go.
Not farming anything, we're having a discussion today. But somebody asked about void erosion per stage 28, so I'm just showing it can be done. Like, this is the same build, wrong element on the build, but you can still get through stage 28, 29. It's very easy to do. After that, you can just go do whatever you need to in stage 30. So I'm just helping people by showing.
Oh no.
Because that's what we do here. Anything that I'm challenged to do, I can do it like that. It's that easy.
My shield falters. My shield has been damaged.
Whoops. Multi-hit effect? It's explained already. You should watch my video. If you still can't understand it, watch the video again and again until you do. Because it's very, very clear what it does in that video. I would suggest you watch my video on it, dude. Anytime you can't understand something and you watch the video once, watch it again. Watch it until you understand it, because that's the best way to learn. Because the explanations in the video are very, very clear. So no shade to you, but that's what you gotta do.
Face the flame.
I'm pretty sure Rena's just bullying you, Doc. Even if I die this many times, take a look at my timer. You'll still be able to get through it. I didn't bother with hammer and anvil. It seemed useless to me. But that's me.
My shield falters.
Maybe somebody out there knows what it's used for. Certainly not me. And if this is too slow, right, you can just pull out your last dagger, but just to show a point, you can just do it with Malevolent, and this is with the wrong build. Like, I didn't bother changing any of this to electric. This is all with chill, okay? So that should explain to you that you can just use the build and go through it. It's easy enough. But most people just farm stage 30, so be aware of that, okay? No problem. That's why I just follow the builds. Whenever I say, you know, this can be used for something at a higher level, it means it can be used for a low level. Always just follow the builds, do what I do, and you'll have no problems. Well, most people don't queue in public anymore for those low levels because they all play in stage 30 anyway. Because there's no point for them, unfortunately, to be in the lower levels. They just go straight to stage 30 and there you go. Okay, back at it we go. And now just because I'm lazy, I'm gonna switch back over. Everyone's watched those, but yes. He can also do that. It depends though. I've noticed that some people are helpful, some people are not. On the Asia server, Kwang, most people are pretty helpful, but I have heard some of the horror stories of the other servers. So, what's my favorite? None of them. I don't like those kinds of movies. They're okay, but not really a super jam for me.
I will cleanse this place.
Anyway, that's also not relevant to our current discussion, so if you don't mind, let's try and stay on topic, shall we?
My shield falters. Purification.
Okay, let's check in with the polls right now. After about 179 votes, about 25% of people think it'll be buffs tomorrow, 21% think it'll be nerfs. So optimists 25%, pessimists are 21%. Both nerfs and buffs 37%. So people with balanced opinion, that's the majority, and 16% are the jokesters. No, I do not, Market Day.
It is time for your judgment. Into the light.
Oh, I used that a bit too early. Whoops. Didn't mean to do that. Did not mean to do that.
I have punished the wicked.
Well, we shall see, Craig. That's why I usually tell people it's best to watch the streams. Whatever you see me use, build that first. There won't be an ultimate Nell. She's not a descendant. At least as far as I know. I don't know if she's got any powers. Maybe in future, if she gets powers, you'll see it. You'll see her. What's a blueberry gun? Did you typo him on?
Face the flames. Ask Quang.
Of course, Kwong. Tormentor is the same as Defiler and is the same as Infernal Walker. No difference in the drops. Lol, Foxy. This gun is the Ancient Knight. Serena's Ancient Knight build is on my channel. Use it together with a bossing build, you can do what I'm doing. Chris, please check the appropriate build video. All of it is showcased in the build video. Go straight to my channel, go look for the build video. Don't ever ask me on stream, because on stream I will direct you to the build video. And there's a reason for that, alright? Just in case any new viewers think that I send people to videos because I want views and revenue. No, that's not the case. It's because the build video covers everything you're going to need, every explanation, every bit of information. Now, of course, you can choose to ask me on stream, but I'm not going to go through a whole ass 20-minute build video every single time, so I'm just going to direct you to the build video. Well, see, Market Day, I believe in properly teaching people, because what a person does... My friend and I, John, had a bit of a discussion about this in private, but basically, well, in the private space of our family Discord, but essentially, I firmly believe that if I want to show people anything, or if I want to lead people, then I must first be the leader, all right? Most people know, but we've all got military history here. Most of my viewers are veterans. So I will not ask my soldiers to do something I cannot do myself. So what I do is I show people on stream, here's what I do, here's what I can do. Lol, Arcane. I'll show people that, and then they can replicate it. I won't ask somebody to do something I won't do. Alright? So that mentality is why, in my videos, I don't care if they're long, but I'm going to teach you everything from A to Z. I'm going to show you that I can do it, and you can do it too. You just do what I do, you'll be fine. You don't do what I do, then practice until you can. And that's the way it should be. I'm Singaporean. Hey, Velma. And Blue Beetle, I'll just ask you, Evan, have you ever seen me use the gun? Because I only used it in one build, and that was Sharon's farming build, and I only used it as a stat stick. I didn't even fire the gun. So my opinion of the gun is it's a stat stick. If you think you can make it great, but yeah. I do not currently use the gun. Who knows, maybe you'll find a good use for it. Hello, April. If you do, let me know, Emin. If you can, like, solo slay anything with the Blue Beetle, being ultra badass.
Purification.
You can do whatever you want to do. But at the end of the day, If it ever becomes useful, I will structure it for whatever it's supposed to be useful for. At this current moment, I have no need of it. For Viesa's crit, you can consult the build video that I did for her in the past. I believe there's an absolute zero video that I did for farming with Viesa. I also did a bossing one. I don't think you need a stat stick on her, as far as I remember, because she doesn't have a stat stick, especially when you use absolute zero. If you use a different build, then you can theoretically have a stat stick, but her skills are all over the place, which is probably why her builds aren't really that great. Well, Ruben, Haley is still good, yeah. But of course there are better bosses now. Haley is useful if you're still farming low-level bosses, but you're going to need to build different things. And if you stopped playing the game a few months ago, you've got a lot of catch-up to do. Thunder Cage? No, it's trash. I mean, if you like it, go ahead, but there's nobody serious that would use a Thunder Cage, man. It might look good, but it's not going to be good. She can't melt Tormentor though, Kwong, which is why I'm staying away from that statement. Because the low-level bosses, sure. But once you get to, what, Gluttony, she can't melt that. Except if you use her gun build. And then Deathstalker, she still can't melt that, but Serena can, so there's a bit of difference. Gotta be very careful what we tell people here. Because they're here seeking answers, so we have to give our answers in accordance with the current situation. Alright, please remember that. If you're not 100% sure of your answer, it's okay to let me answer the question instead. For Ultimate Bunny, there's no weapon she needs. I would recommend just any weapon that you can put speed on as a stat stick. That's what I've mentioned before, Terrence. So for me, I use the Enduring Legacy with a sprint speed stat. That's what I do. But the fact that you didn't know that means that you didn't pay attention to what I said in yesterday's stream. I told you guys not to miss streams, guys. Because I answered this exact same question yesterday. In 400%, but 400% is not this. So it's okay. Every gun can be okay, but doesn't make it great. And also you're using it for fun. Well, you gotta catch up when you got your free time, Terrence. Otherwise, you're gonna miss out, man. Just think about it this way. I'm not trying to be mean or be a dick, but if I have to answer the same question every single stream, it's not productive for me either. Because then other people don't get their questions answered. So where possible, I'll just say, look, don't miss a stream. If you have to play catch-up, you have to play catch-up. I don't have a good option for you guys, and I'm sorry about that. But if I end up answering the same questions over and over, it's a problem. They'll have the same activator and catalyst. Yes, Market Day, they will. The only thing that will be different is the roles. They'll need a separate core binder. They have separate stat roles for their weapon readjustment and core roles. But the module slots, the activator is all the same. Yeah, sure, Austin. Go ham. I'm just careful of that statement, Kwon, because when you say melting bosses, people will think that, oh, she can melt the latest bosses. So again, I'm going to have to correct you on that. I'm sorry. We can't say she's melting bosses. Because when we say that, people have an expectation in their mind. Don't forget, as a content creator, I have a very specific way of answering questions. Not trying to be pedantic here, but there's a reason for it. Because if I shoot my mouth off and just tell them, oh yeah, Haley can melt all the bosses, people are going to get to Deathstalker and get melted in return. Because Deathstalker requires a shield build, and unless they specifically build that Haley build, they're going to suffer, right? So we can't just say that somebody's melting bosses. What if they bring the sniper build into Deathstalker? They're going to die. You get what I mean? So we have to be very careful. We have to choose our words carefully. That's why when I answer a question, I'll say, look, she can melt the low-level bosses like she did before, but there's way better options right now, and she can't kill Tormentor or Deathstalker with ease unless you build a specific build for it. Like, all this is important because you have to give an answer to a viewer that gives them the current situation. Because, like I said, this dude coming back after months, he doesn't know the situation. You know, he's not playing every day, so he doesn't know what's going on. You give them bad advice, they won't come back to your stream. You understand? That's why if you're not 100% sure on the question, I know some of you guys want to just help me out, but if you're not 100% sure and you cannot give the same answer that I would give, don't answer the question, or just say, look, we'll wait till Robot answers the question. Or you can direct it to one of the more knowledgeable people in chat that have memorized literally everything that I've said, like Foxy, Rena, Jonathan, all that. No problem. I'm here to help. Like I said, so some people might say I'm overly strict, but I have to be. Because people are counting on me. They're counting on me for accurate information. I know you want to help, but if you want to help, you got to do it the right way. So if you want to help, good. But then you need to be able to memorize my answers. You need to know exactly what I would say. Because if you cannot answer in exactly the same way that I would answer, it's best not to answer. Wait till I answer it. Because I will give them a holistic response. And would Python be good with Serena? I mean, sure. You can use it with firing Fiesta, but I'm not sure what you would use it for. If you're thinking about using it for this guy, you could try it out. There's no right or wrong answer. Give it a go. I haven't seen anyone specifically build it for this guy, but who knows? Maybe. I think the best thing to do, Fox, is that if you trigger the third skill, you get your 2 jumps back. So you can stay in flight just by very slow... Here, I'll show you. Alright, let me explain the mechanical action. You get 2 jumps. 1 jump, 2 jumps. And you can just stay in the air very slowly. See? You activate a 4th skill, you get your jumps back. Jump, jump. So you just float on over. When you start to lose altitude, you can use your 3rd skill to reload. And you get your 2 jumps back, by the way. So you can jump. And then you can use your 3rd skill again. And you jump. You see? Like that. So it's very easy to stay in the air. Just jump once in a while to change your momentum. Practice and you should be okay. Hello, Neo Wolf. Yeah, I haven't actually seen anybody screaming about the Python, which is why I'm like, okay, not gonna waste the catalyst right now, because I would need to adjust. I would need to adjust multi-hit onto it, since it couldn't use crit before anyway. It would also be quite a close-range weapon, so you'd have to get right up close and start blasting. Yeah, you can use the grapple to travel fast, but the Tormentor's arena is relatively small. So if you're using your grapple, you're going to have issues. That being said, you can just get another jump like so. I don't know which update fixed it, but okay, sure. Because the next update's tomorrow. There's been no update today. But if you're talking about previous update, then maybe. I have not encountered that bug. Yeah, that's fair, Austin. And I expected it would be, because like I've already shown, crit multipliers are way better than, you know, all the rest, essentially. Oh, on PS5. Not so sure about that. Maybe. I can't remember if that was in the last set of patch notes, but if it's fixed, good. I'm glad that that was the case.
I have punished the wicked.
Could be. There's always potential for that. Yes, he does have a mechanic that cancels his skills. I mean, most of the time he doesn't get to show it off because we just blast him out of the sky, but yep, he does have that.
Punishment.
No, it's not a bug. I'm pretty sure it's Tormentor.
We can do it.
I've never encountered a bug where her abilities get locked. Unless the Colossus or enemy has a lock ability.
Purification.
Are you gonna pay for the meals, N64? If you're gonna pay for the meals, then sure, I'll happily do more mukbang streams, no problem. But somebody's gotta fund that. And most of the time, it's been D-Russ or Tommy, Lawbreaker. One of those guys has been funding it. So I'll happily do more dinner streams for you guys, no problemo. I'm happy to do it. But who's gonna foot the bill? You got an answer for me on that, pal? You got an answer for me? I'll take it anytime. Okay. Somebody's got to pay for the dinner. All right, let's carry on. Carry on my wayward son.
Face the flames. I have punished the wicked.
Well, I would suggest reporting it in. A mukbang is basically a Korean word, Carlos. It means a stream where you eat in front of the camera. So I don't know if you've ever seen my Friday unhealthy dinner streams, but that's basically that. It's where I will go get some fast food or something and I eat dinner for you guys. Last week I tried the mushroom sauce triple double cheeseburger, whatever. But I don't think I'll have a dinner stream this week because it will be quite important for me to focus on this update, especially if tomorrow there's a drastic change. I'm gonna focus on that. Also, there's a Monster Hunter update on Friday, so yeah, I probably won't do a dinner stream this week, to be perfectly frank. And I don't mean the cast kind. Yeah, Friday is unhealthy dinner stream. Right? Yeah, I know. Everybody uses that exploit because I've seen people just do that, take advantage of that. I choose not to because it's not the right thing to do. Maybe call me old school or whatever, but I operate on an honor system. I feel that if you do anything with a bug or exploit that doesn't involve your skills, you're less than human garbage. Because it's not intended gameplay. Show me that you can do it intended, because I tell you, a lot of the people who like to use bugs and exploits, wait to see what happens in a PvP game. Because once that bug or exploit's taken away in a PvP game, those people are sunk. So yeah. Exploiting has no honor. Yeah. But if people want to use that, then good for them. They can go chase their leaderboard timings with their exploits and bugs. Ever since the game I shall not mention, ever since that game literally caused my family to be threatened with physical violence, and they're lucky I'm not in America, because I would have purchased a gun and taken care of that straight away. All right. But ever since my family got threatened with physical violence because of that game, I have despised anybody that uses exploits or bugs. If you can't beat something in a one-on-one face-to-face fight with no tricks, then don't even talk to me. Because me, what I'm gonna show you guys is how to do it with no tricks. We don't have infinite mana, we have no god mode, we're just me versus the enemy. Like I said, Jonathan, if they're gonna cheat in a video game, it's very simple. They'll be the ones to cheat on their wives, their family, their friends. They're not gonna have any honor for you, and they might say, "Oh, it's completely different," you know. They'll always use that excuse. They always say things like, "Oh, it's completely different. It's just a video game." That's how it starts. That's literally how it starts. When you stop being accountable for what you do, oh no, because dude, they're not going to convict people for Discord, and my country doesn't have the same laws as other countries, so they're not going to convict people for Discord posts. All right. Now, if they had physically landed in Singapore, then sure, but you know, there wasn't anything I could do court-wise. But anyway, the point is, let's get back on topic. The point is, you got to do things legit, because the second you stop taking accountability for yourself, Exactly. Like what Carlos says. It's what you can get away with. Then what's to stop you from saying, oh, I can get away with cheating on my significant other. I can get away with lying to my boss. I can get away with lying to my friends. You know, I can prey upon the people that care about me. There is always going to be an excuse. That's why, for me, I don't ever make up an excuse. If I do something wrong, I own up to it. How many times have you seen me make an apology video because I released a video that was wrong? And I will do it again and again if I have to, because that's what accountability means. I am responsible for my own actions that I commit with these two hands. Okay? Same goes for everybody. You can justify it whatever way you want. You can spin it whatever way you want. You can talk about it whatever way you want. You do what you gotta do. But me, I'm gonna do it right. And I believe that even if I have a smaller audience because of it, just because I'm not showing them the exploits and cheats, that's fine. I don't care if I have a smaller audience. I'm gonna stay true to myself. And the people that I'm real with, they're gonna be real with me. And that's better.
This is divine punishment.
Welcome, Brandon. Tell you one thing, people only ever regret it when they get caught. They regret that they got caught for their actions, nothing else.
I have punished the wicked.
Well, no, most of the time cheating is easy. It's actually quite easy. You just get a program, install it, off you go. But, I mean, it just diminishes the fun. And Sonny, I will be streaming through the update tomorrow, yes. Sorry it took me a while to answer your question. Nice, rock on. Not right now, Fritz. Maybe in future, because there's better Descendants to work on. Viessa is, I'm sorry to say, kind of garbo. The only time I worked on her last time was because Infernal Walker was a thing. Now there's no reason for me to work on Viessa. But I will in future if there's a need. But right now, not really. She's not very good.
Do not fall. Death to the corrupt.
Anyway, let's check in with the polls. All right, about 40% of people, the majority, are saying that there's going to be both buffs and nerfs tomorrow. I hope so. I hope so. Let's see that. 25% still on the optimistic side. All right, I love how that number never changes. Pessimistic side is still 22%. Never changes either. But the number that chose the joke response. Okay, 15%. All right, not bad. I don't know, Foxy, when you gonna drop a really hot red super chat on me? I'll do it on that day. Same with Jaber, okay? I'm gonna set the same conditions. All right, when Foxy drops that absolutely hot red super chat, you know, then I'll say, you know, it's time. I think it's time for me to drop a Luna build. Yeah, I think it's time to work on that shit. You know what I'm saying? I see Foxy Kim, and I see that red number there. I'm like, okay. Okay. All right. Fox sponsored 500, so let's go. She sponsored 500. We're gonna do Luna right now, okay? I'm gonna drop whatever I'm doing on stream. I'm gonna go in and just rock and roll, man. So there you go. Blair is not tomorrow, 23 Cats. That's on April 17th. They already posted about it on Twitter and in their official Discord. Y'all gotta check the news sometimes, okay? They already said it's gonna happen elsewhere, not here.
Purification.
I know you need to blow off the steam, John, but you really shouldn't be running in a dust storm. Not exactly very healthy. We're not gonna get story tomorrow, Neo Wolf. Sorry, but that's not happening. That I can tell you for sure we're not getting tomorrow. And if I'm wrong, well, I'll admit that I'm wrong live on stream. Always got to bring all your equipment, man. Even if it's a little heavier. A mask is always necessary, especially when outside. For me, it's more because my immune system's garbo, so I wear a mask whenever I have to go outside. I won't even meet people or friends without a mask on. I went and met Phil, Truffles, and Yuri for dinner once, and I wore a mask because hell no, there's no way that I'll ever, you know, do it without a mask.
It is time for your judgment.
Yes. So I won't go out with all my equipment. It's can't. Must always have all the equipment at all times. Yes, Blair should be getting a story on April 17th. Although, I really do hope that they focus on the game story. That would be a lot nicer. I kind of want them to do that because focusing on the game story would be better, in my personal opinion. Good job, Dr. Man. Glad your day is going well.
You will not fail. Death to the corrupt.
Well, I don't know. We'll have to see. I mean, if they nerf Serena tomorrow, then yeah, Tormentor's gonna get harder. But again, we'll have to see. You know, there's no one clear answer. Realistically speaking, I mean, you can still run Glaive for this guy. Just a bit harder.
Will not fail. Death to the corrupt.
I don't really want to hunt for lore. And I think a weekly update of that might be pretty difficult to do. Well, this is a seasonal game, just like with Destiny, so it's gonna take that time. One second. Just replying to a guy that left a comment because I think it's a little weird. Dude was at my stream. He's literally seen me prove stuff live to my audience, but you know, I was reading his comment. I was like, "You for real?" Because you've been at my stream. You know, this is why sometimes I have a disconnect with people because I don't get it. You know, I could show everything live to people in their face, and people will still think that, you know, there's hidden factors or things like that. There isn't. A lot of time you just gotta admit that maybe you're just not good. Maybe you just don't know what you're doing. And if you don't know what you're doing, that's when you gotta learn.
Death to the blasphemous.
I actually have to say, I'm with Kat on this one. I think that if they focus on the big updates but make them really good, it's better. Because for me, right, what I want to see them do is update the story, yes, but do it in a block. So like maybe every month or so, like if they're gonna drip feed us the story, at least do it on a monthly basis, you know? Like 3 good solid story updates per season would be nice. That would be the ideal pacing for me, but I don't know how likely that is to happen. Am I Geppetto? What? I'm not catching your reference. You wanna walk that by me again? The only Geppetto I know is from Liza P. And that dude was a freaking liar, okay? He lied to Pinocchio. No.
Do not fall.
I think that for those kind of things, though, it might be difficult to do. The only reason I'm thinking about it being difficult to do is that even if we have little lore Easter egg hunts, how much of the player base is going to participate in it? You see? So, and if they just release like one data slate, I don't know if that's going to be enough for what the people want. So it's hard to satisfy on both fronts. That's why I think that like going from like the so-called, I guess, I'm thinking from a big business kind of point of view, you have to structure your work and sort of like throw your whole self into it. So although there might be a niche population that would want to see like those kinds of lore and Easter eggs, maybe they could drop a few with each major update, but if they focus on the major updates, it might work better. At least that's what I think from a business point of view, because that way the devs aren't worrying about what are we going to drop this week in terms of lore or a tidbit or something like that. Rather, they're like, okay, so this is the whole project. We can drop certain bits of lore into it, you know, add that to the universe. But for the most part, they're going to focus on the major updates. Something like that, I guess. Listen. Well, what I'll say to both you and John, Foxy, is that if I am the puppet master behind Corel, then that's gonna make for one hell of a boss. Okay? Because can you imagine you defeat Corel and then I show up in game and people are like, what the hell is this guy doing here? And I say, oh, you defeated Corel. Very good job. Congratulations. I am now proud of you. You guys defeated Corel. Now you have to face your greatest challenge as descendants. What's your greatest challenge? Then you fight me lah. Come, let's fight.
I have punished the wicked.
Then I just murder you all instantly with like a one-shot build. There we go. How about that? I don't disagree with you, John. I would love to know all that. But I think they should release that together with the major updates because people want story to move forward. So like the backwards sitting, like the sort of like backwards viewed lore. I don't know what's the correct term, but the more older lore can be delivered with the big story updates as like little tidbit snippets. Hey, Lawbreaker, good to see you, my man. How's it going? Doing good. Just chilling. They're gonna release the stories over time, Finesse. So they'll just pick and choose the descendant and tell their story. That's all. Yeah. I mean, I would love to hear the background, man, for sure. You know, Just that I want to see it as part of the big thing, you know, add it as like little bits to the big thing.
We will not fail. Purification complete.
But I think it'd be cool. I think it'd be cool to know all that stuff about Albion. Maybe someday you can hope and pray. We can always hope, fam. We can always hope. If it is, I don't remember, but what I would want, right, is like a full-on cutscene and things like that, you know? I like to watch the movies. Because as nice as it is to read the lore in the journals and whatnot, which I'm sure somewhere is there, if you look at records and stuff, they'll tell you about all this kind of crap, and there you go. But like these kind of things don't tell me enough, you know? There is Albion lore, but again, it's like snippets. I want a real movie. Like, give me a full-on movie that's gonna tell me everything. There's something about the history here, talking about the ancestors, apocalypse, but again, it's all like you're just reading Commander Owens and things like that. Like, it's not enough, at least in my opinion. You know, it's not enough. I feel completed some random quest, but yeah, for me, it's just I genuinely feel that it would be better if like we had a movie or something like a cutscene in game, you know, show us the real deal, like what really happened. Glad you're doing good, Lawbreaker. Hey Troy, it's going well. Jonathan, you hungry for some lunch? Good. Carlos. Yep. Zeko, I'm so sorry. I hope that the devs can fix that for you. It would be nice if they did.
New subscriber detected.
I don't think they have the budget to make a TV show, but it would be nice if they at least put in-game cutscenes in with lore, history, all that kind of stuff. That'd be pretty cool to see. I'm down for that. I'm sure there are people that compile stuff and do that, but yeah, nah. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not a lore nerd. For me, all I need to know is I am here, I have gun, I must kill. My job, my duty, shoot. I see enemy, I shoot. Their enemy, kill. There you go. I don't know who I'm here or why I'm here. I am not so sure if it was bugged because I think somebody managed to figure it out yesterday. What was it? They had to go to the shop and redeem the ticket. Like when you click on purchasing the Ultimate Bunny, you can, in the shop, like you go to premium shop, there should be an option to redeem it with a ticket. Yeah, that sounds about right, Kwong. So I'm pretty sure the truth that it's not bugged. I'm pretty sure that's what you have to do. Somebody worked it out on my stream yesterday. Oh, Fox, you want all of them out there? You want all of them out there instead of at home taking care of the kids? No. But either way, also, the male descendants aren't really that kick-ass. That's the problem. I need one of them to be the Punisher. I really do. I really do. One of them's got to be Daredevil. One of them's got to be Punisher. One of them needs to be Luke Cage. You know? I got to see that. Congrats, Brandon. Well done. Anyway, nothing wrong with stay-at-home dads, as long as you're not a deadbeat dad. It's good enough. Go ahead and be the best stay-at-home dad you can be. Be the stay, be the home, be the dad. Just don't be sad. Listen, I'm all for that. They just need to give me something, alright? I don't care what they give me. They just need to give me something. That's the problem that I'm having right now. Give me something. You know? The last time we used Kyle, he could barely keep up. And then Ines dropped, and then freaking all the others dropped. And then Kyle's been left in the dust, because how much damage can he deal? He has to fly around like a bomber just to do any kind of damage. And solo, you best forget about it. Nah. His AoE's not too big. You're supposed to just survive, man. I mean, if they nerf Serena, then I'll show you guys some tactics, okay? I'll show you guys some tactics to survive. It's called beat him up before he beats you up. Like a real man. But in all seriousness, hey, it's not bad. Well, listen, Dwayne Johnson. I'm sure everybody's hyped for it, but is he going to be strong? That's what we have to see tomorrow. If they don't balance him tomorrow... Well, good morning, Jack. If they don't balance him tomorrow, then there's going to be a problem. Because if he releases in his current state, he's not going to be great, right? So, you're super hyped for Blair, and then he releases crap, then he's just going to go unused. And by the time you even pull out Blair's little piddly flamethrower on his third skill, I believe, all the other descendants just literally wipe the floor with everything in the entire map. So, you know, it's not going to work out very well, right? That's the big danger. It is my point to make a point. It is my purpose to make a point. Not trying to dampen anybody's hype, but just, you know, talk about reality here. And I also think that they should have just bitten the bullet beforehand, but I guess we'll see. Any updates about Eugen? Wait and see for tomorrow. We don't know what's coming. We're just discussing possibilities. Today we are merely discussing possibilities. Sonny, I'll be real with you. You've been saving Catalyst for like 17 updates, man. So, aren't you the guy with like a lot of catalysts? So, why worry? Keelan's okay. I just wish he was decent. Well then, Dwayne, look, hope for the best, but prepare to be done with it because, yeah. I don't know what they're gonna do. A smart decision right at the start of the game would have been to just turn everybody's power level up to 11. They said they wanted us to have power fantasy, but back even in Season 0, the only power fantasy you had was Bunny running around, and then Lepic for bosses. Like, that's not much of a power fantasy because everybody else couldn't do shit. So, not sure how serious they are about power fantasy, but that's what I would have done.
A victory for humanity.
Well, sorry, the truth. Can't help you there. I mean, everybody else has figured it out. I myself never claimed the ticket. Obviously, I go for skins and already have Ultimate Bunny. So, yeah, my apologies. I can't help you. Go back to the official Discord, talk to them, see if somebody else can help you there. You want to run that statement by me again?
Into the light.
You fisted what, Dwayne?
Ask Corn is a monster.
Hell of a typo there. And sorry, Chester, unfortunately, I don't think ETA 0 is ever going to get a tuning tree for what you really want. Go to the Descendant page and click on Ultimate Bunny. Oh, so it's not from the shop. You go to the Descendant page and you click on Ultimate Bunny? Okay. The truth, you can try that. Like what Killua says there. Greetings, Doll A. I am Streamer B. This is Audience C. Welcome. Listen, Robert, that's 70 days away, and we're not going to discuss that. So if you want to discuss it, you might need to find a stream that's all about that. Right now, we're talking about other things. Of course, this build is available on my channel. Enjoy. My Serena builds have been available for weeks now. Well, Finesse, if they're hyped for it, they wouldn't be making early builds. Do you know why they make early builds? Because they're looking for views. They are desperate to capitalize on other people's hype. That's why they made early builds for him. What I'm going to do is what I've always done. If you can't open channels, that's a you issue, Jack. It's on my channel. Go open it and search, dude. I don't believe even for 1 second that you can't open channels. Here's the playlist of videos. Go in there and look around, dude. If everybody can do it, you can. If you got some other weird tech issue, it's not my problem to assist you with that. And I'm not going to either. Because that is the weirdest thing I've ever heard from anybody. There's nobody that says, I can't open channels. Come on, dude. Don't do that. All my builds have always been on my channel. Go search, go look through them like everybody else.
New subscriber detected.
So, the truth, Shango also says that go to the Descendant page, click on Bunny, the token should be there instead of the price. Try that. And no problem, Dwayne. Okay, at least I now know what you meant. But yes. But either way, look, I hope that Blair will be good, but I'm going to do what I've always done. I'm simply just going to work on him when the game comes out. And then I'll go from there.
Purification.
Yeah, my current build is all on my channel. Like I already told you, Jack, please go to my channel, take a look around. It's there. It literally says Serena bossing build. Okay? So please make sure y'all do that. And don't worry, Fox, I already answered his question. Well, if he's decent, I'll test him live on stream, so you'll be able to see it, like I always done. The build is on my channel, doll. Everybody can use this. Simple and easy to construct. fact, you can theoretically do this faster, but I'm not building a second last dagger. But yeah, any testing that you need to see, like I said, I always do it live on stream. So everything that anyone needs to see will be done live in front of their eyes, and then you'll be able to check.
Death to the blasphemous.
Maybe, Dwayne.
Ask one, the monster.
And Kwang, please take note that we have a clean stream policy. It's in my contract by Nexon, so as much as we all appreciate Daya's gifts, keep the conversation clean, please. Do I like any of the new weapons? Have you checked the recent builds on my channel? Because yeah, I've been using them. My question to you, Mr. Dwayne, is why haven't you seen all my latest videos and why aren't you using the same weapons? If you miss a single video, that's a big problem. I mean, you like my magic, then why haven't you caught up with all my latest videos?
Purification.
See you later, Neo. Enjoy yourself. If I have a video on it, then it's probably a useful weapon. You know, there's still people that don't even know how to turn off explosions. It's crazy. I haven't bothered with the truly deadly arson yet either. Maybe someday. I just don't want to go to normal mode. It's boring. Maybe at some point if I have to level up Jaber or something, like people really come through with the 500 for Jaber, then fair enough. I guess I'll go normal mode and do that. Welcome, new subscriber. Well, even if you have to go to my vid to learn how to turn it off, everybody should know how to turn off explosions. Like, I don't understand why there's people that still say, I can't see anything when restored relic fires. I'm like, you can turn off the explosions. Like, dude, how does anybody not know how to turn off explosions? Like, bro, come on. This is basic knowledge that I taught everybody already. Jesus. Okay, I'll show you in a second. Intellium, I've heard that Xbox people are having issues, but I'm so sorry. I have no idea how to help you. You have to wait for TFD to fix it, I think. Alright, fine. If it's because of the hustle, Dwayne, then I forgive you. But you gotta catch up on the videos, okay? Now, I'm only gonna do this once. Alright? So everybody pay attention with both your eyeballs. Don't use one eyeball. Don't use half an eyeball. Don't use 3/4 of an eyeball. I want you to use both your eyeballs right now, okay? Display. Under options. Display settings. Show explosion effect during combat. Gentlemen, you can just change from show all targets to hide all targets. Okay? One step process. Y'all never look at your settings, is it? Gentlemen. As a previous soldier of the Singapore Armed Forces, I have to ask you, how come y'all never look at your settings? Y'all just play the game, you think everything is going to be set up for you. What kind of Gen Z crappy thinking is this? You think that you just take the phone out of the box, the phone is ready to use? No, right? You got to set up your profile, you got to put in your profile information, set password, set biometric. Why you don't want to do this for video game? You think you just go in there, you just set your options. Oh, I don't need to think about options. No, you must look at all the options. You must know what your phone can do, right? Same thing here, you just go and turn off all the explosions. So easy, one-step process. Okay, so I hope that helps, all right? Anybody that didn't know this, all right, remember this. Now, jokes aside, for any video game, the first thing you do is you go and explore every single option, memorize them because you got to know what they do. Later on, if they add new options, keep up with the patch notes. Because the patch notes, when there's a new option that drops, I'll say in the patch notes, got this new option right here. Look at this fantastic shiny option now. You can turn off your damage numbers. You can turn your damage numbers back on. Now you can go down here. You can change your fire mode. You can have rapid fire on your gun. No problem. You can even change your grappling hook, correction, guide, whatever. You can turn them off, no problem. Okay, you can sprinkle a little MSG on your characters. You don't want to talk on voice. You can just turn your mic off. Okay, you must know your options. Well, you don't know options. And then battle voice, you don't want to hear your descendant. You know you can turn off your descendant, right? Then you don't hear your battle voice anymore. Somebody once asked me, how come I cannot hear my descendant? I say you turn off the battle voice, right? You just go in there, you turn it off, you just turn it back on again. It's like you tell me your router not working, then I say why you never unplug and plug again. No, Kwang. There's no excuses. Everybody gotta do it, alright? We're all in the older crowd, alright? I ain't a young guy. Alright? We don't do that Gen Z thinking here. No. We're all, everybody here, you learn what I learn, okay? You do the same things. I don't know. I haven't tried it, Eternal Hex. Depends on the amount of damage done. Why don't you build their build? Why don't you try out their build? See if you can do it too. If you try out their build, then you know never to follow their nonsense ever again. Simple, right? The ATOMs can deal a lot of damage. Keep that in mind. But how much damage it deals depends on quite a bit of factors, how you built it. So what I would say is that for me, ATOMs is a one-shotter, yes, but you have to know how it works. Did you check the video about ATOMs? Did you understand the video? And did you also check about critical hit rate resistance? What are we talking about? Because anybody can one-shot Executioner, sorry. Yeah, anybody can one-shot Molten Fortress. He's got like no hit points. Alright? You can see the hit points of every single Colossus now. So let's go here. Gluttony, for example, has 34,000 hit points. If you built your ATOMs with fire, and he's got very low firearm critical hit rate resistance, and you get a crit, you could probably do that with Sharon multiplying the damage, no problemo, right? But if you were to do it in a team fight with the same thing with Sharon, maybe she won't be able to reach 100 million damage. You gotta know. Did you try what the other people in my chat suggested, the truth? Because I'm pretty sure they did say that you can go to the Descendant page, and instead of the cost, it'll be something. So maybe you go here, you go to Ultimate Bunny, you try, instead of purchasing her, you use your ticket. I don't know. Try all that. If it really didn't work, then yeah, you have to wait until the Discord answers you. No problem, Sam. But I hope everybody now knows how to turn off explosions and also change your options around. Anybody ask me this question again, you're gonna get the hand. Okay, you're gonna get the hand of God right now. All right, I will reach through this computer, all right, and give you an iron claw on your face. Like I said, Eternal Hex, look, you build their build. If you do not have 100% faith in me yet, go build their build, try it out for yourself. Then once you've erased the doubt from your mind, then you know that in future, you don't need to worry about it. Unless I do it, don't need to worry about it. Right? You can do whatever you want with anything, but before we look at a one-shot situation, you need to understand the context of it. What are they fighting? Is it a low-level boss, high-level boss? Also, if it's Tormentor, then okay. Tormentor's got 100 million hit points. Did they manage to reach that damage? If you build their build, can you reach the same amount of damage? Test, check for yourself. Once you do that, you will never have a problem. But you don't do that, well... At this current moment, I'm not inclined to use Sharon, but who knows? If they nerf Serena tomorrow, maybe we'll need to. Also, don't forget to register as my supporter if you guys haven't yet. Nightbot's already put up the link in chat. I hope all of you have registered, but the choice is yours at the end of the day. I hope you choose your creators wisely.
Reloading. I have punished the wicked.
Well, the thing is, you should try it though. I mean, if it creates a doubt or a question in your mind, you should try it. Yeah, don't worry about it. There's nothing wrong with questioning or being skeptical, but you have to think in context.
Into the light. Death to the corrupt.
Because there are always different factors for everything. For example, I'll just show you this because may as well. I can take a little breather to do this. Let's put the ATOMs on for a second. I'm gonna go on a really quick boss tour. These early easy ones we don't need. We'll start a Swamp Walker because it's just easier to showcase.
Into the light.
In this particular case, I missed. If I'd aimed for the shoulder properly, that would have been a one-shot. So, it depends on aim, but again, the ATOMs by itself, and this is with Serena's buff, doesn't really do all that much damage. Now, granted, I've got the wrong elements on. If I actually put the correct elements on, because right now I'm doing this with Toxic, then it probably would have been a lot better. All right, but this is where like there can be some differences in kill power, so you have to really look at how they're doing it, you know. Yeah, you can. Glade, the reactor doesn't matter, as I said in my latest video. I would like you to review the latest video, Tridors. Please pay attention to what I said in my reactor section. Because look, I'll be real with you, most of you guys only watch about 5 minutes of video. I know they're longer, but if you actually sit down and sit through the whole video, all these questions that you're ever asking me will all be answered straight away. Okay? I promise you that much. So just once, give it a try. Sit through and watch the whole video. And this ATOMs build is already out, by the way, Eternal Hex, so you can take and review that. Now, for Sharon to do the same things, I mean, it seems plausible, but we'll have to check it. Anything that I say in my video can be trusted, Tridors, so even if you did watch it again then. You should never need to ask me anything that's in my video. There's no need to be sure, because I never lie in my videos, nor do I ever give you false information. So saying that you have to check and just want to be sure, that's a waste of time, to be perfectly frank. As long as it's in the video, that's all you need. That shot with the wrong element was approximately... Oh yeah, it capped out at 21 million, which killed the damn thing. Fair. Now we can actually go over to Ultimate Sharon, and I believe we can build something similar. I believe I've done it. But let's see. I think I have something like that I once put together. But just give me a second to be sure. I want to be 100% sure. The one. Yeah, this looks about right. Duration is 8.5 seconds. Ambushed is there. Okay. Okay. 100% increased outgoing damage from the ambush state. Critical increase. Okay. Everything else here is fine. No problems. Now, since this is designed for guns, where's my ATOMs? There you are. Okay. Sharon doesn't need this, so I guess I'll just take that. Well, Intellium, it's to sort of like, I guess, slow down gameplay. Best way to test it is on something that's resistant to this. So you finally managed to get it sorted? Hey, JC.
Activating stealth. Unseen.
Does not seem likely. Now, granted, I have the wrong element here, but I think it would depend on the boss because ATOMs doesn't actually hit that much. With Serena, it's possible, and I would think that you'd have to build specifically for this, which, look, they could jolly well do that. You know, if they build specifically to fight this type of character, it is plausible. Maybe not probable, but plausible at least. Alright. It's good old Enduring Legacy. You could also do, they could also be using Walk Tightrope with conditional recharge. Like, that'd make a lot of sense, but yeah. I can certainly say that the ATOMs does a lot of damage, but is it gonna be the perfect one-shot machine? Not so sure. No problem, the truth. We're just here to help. Now, granted, I also don't have arcade tuning on this, but just saying. This is what I feel might change the situation. So, if you have any doubts, why don't you build what they build, and then you can come back and let me know how it went. Because I have this close to maxed out. Seems okay to me. But will it really one-shot everything? I'm not so sure. Might have to change the build for other specific things. Okay, now back to what I was doing. Hope that demonstration helped. And I don't know if they're gonna nerf tomorrow. I think they will. because that's what everybody's been gabbing about. I'll be very surprised if they don't. But who knows? It's all up in the air till tomorrow morning. So tomorrow morning, we'll have to keep an eye on the stream and find out what's going on. That's going to be the crucial key. When tomorrow's update comes, let's see what really happens. Let's see what really changes. If there is a big change tomorrow and, you know, they make things better, then good. If there isn't, then, well, we did what we could. Actually, have I done my weekly? Oh, I've got to enhance one reactor one time. I'll just go enhance a random reactor. I just want that so I can grab the free gold. Just charge it, dude. While you're aiming, it charges. Have you watched the ATOMS video? I suggest you watch the ATOMS video. It's its unique ability. Just while you're aiming down sights, it charges. Watch my ATOMS video. It'll teach you more. Oops, wrong one. It's fine. Where's that bunny reactor? Is the one? Is the one? Yep. If they nerf Serena, I'll just do it with Glay. Easy peasy. I'll just run around with my, you know,
Go on, I'm waiting.
with my ultra special Glay, super cool, bang bang bang, bang bang bang, last dagger gun. Okay, I'll just go around and go brrr. Everything is just gonna go brrr, and that'll work. Okay, now I've over 200 coins to spend. So let's spend it all on gold. Ha ha ha. Now I have 92 million gold. Enjoy Eternal Hex. Like, I only use it with Serena, realistically. Oh, it's okay, Austin. That's what my videos are there for. That's why I cover everything in the video. So that they can get an explanation too. That's why I direct them to the videos. Not everybody likes to read. And even if they don't, it's just okay. It's my duty to just interpret the information anyway. Break it down, make it easier. Yeah, no problem. Have fun, Eternal. And like I said, if you want to, just build the build that they made with Ultimate Share and give it a try. There's no right or wrong answer. Give it a try, find out. Because you always got to think beyond. You know, that's what I always say. It's always good to try. There is never a right or wrong answer. Trying stuff is good. It's good for people. Now, where was I? Oh yeah, Tormentor. I'm gonna go get this shit done now. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but I'll take it as a compliment. I shall be a nice cat, somewhat. In the meantime, shameless self-promotion, but those of you that haven't heard my tunes yet, y'all gotta support my music, okay? I'm also available on major music platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, but if you want to get the early releases, check out my YouTube music channel, check out SoundCloud. You want the official releases later on, we're on Spotify, all that. So we're gonna have a grand time with that. Alright? Just looking to grow my following.
My shield has been damaged. A victory for humanity.
You know what? I'll take it. I'll take it. That's a compliment. Okay, back in control, and there we go. How many greens do I have? 373. Yep, far from perfect. Gotta do more. Gotta do more. Get as much as I can done today. Maybe I'll do some VEP as well, since the stream is much more chill now. It's much more chilly Manjaro. Okay.
It is time for your judgment.
Boing. Whee.
Do not fall.
Boing.
Ask what a monster.
Oh, I just do advertisement at the start of it. But I don't like to put my own music in during the boss fights because, look, A lot of people find music with lyrics distracting, so that's why I don't do that. In fact, one of the reasons people like my videos is because they don't come with, as they say, shitty overlaid music. Now, I know my music is not shitty, but at the same time, I don't want to be untrue to those people. So I just do a short advertisement at the start, usually. Some people skip it, some people don't, but it's fine. Like, you gotta go with the pros and cons, right? Okay, now, Void Erosion Purge. Let's change things up a little bit. Kilimanjaro, okay, we're all ready, we're good, good. Now time for a solo dolo. Oh. Devourers and Swamp Walkers, yeah. I mean, it's doable. Just change your ATOMs to electric. It's possible. You can also do it with Deathstalker. It's been done. But yeah, if you have the correct element on it, then absolutely. Wrong element, you're not going to do very much. Because elements have a huge impact. We don't know, Mad Bolt. We'll see tomorrow. That's all I can tell you. We shall see tomorrow. Today, we're just like having a gab about whether or not it is going to happen. You know, that kind of stuff. Because we don't actually know what the changes are going to be. They haven't released any official information on that. So, what we're just doing is just speculating today. So I was just asking my audience to vote in the poll what they think is going to happen. Stuff like that. And most of them say stuff like, oh yeah, it's going to be nerfs or buffs. You know, we just shoot the shit. Talk a lot. Have some fun. Got to keep things interesting, right? This is gonna be a problem. This is the first time I've run out of MP, which is more than a little bit frustrating. First and only time, to be fair. That's an unlucky run, but I have to account for it at a later time because I'll actually have to sit here and regenerate. This is the first time I've had no MP drops. I mean, it can happen, but that's still so odd. Either way, whatever. Yeah, you can hold the dash to go further. This is why you should tune into my streams, because day one with Serena, I taught everybody this already. Well, we'll see, Cat. We'll see. I hope not, but you know, at the end of the day, you never know what's on their minds. Because if they're gonna listen to whiners, you know, everybody likes to whine. And that's what we got. That's why I said we gotta protect what we have. Let's say I want to go further, then just dash like that. You can hold the button and go further. Everybody knows this. Well, everybody that watches my stream. You watch somebody else, I can't help you with that. But here we teach everybody everything. Well, in general, the drops should not cause you to run out of MP. You should have enough drops to sustain. At least that's the way I feel about it. But that was a really, really weird and unlucky run, because sometimes the run just gets strange. Like, you think that you have enough to last, but you don't. So that does happen on occasion.
Do not fall. I shall not fall like this. My shield falters. Reload. I need to reload.
Ah, this would be better. Okay. That's what people are saying, that it's down for Xbox. I'm on PC, so I can't help you with that. Well, they're not going to give you Ultimate Kate or Ultimate Nell, but it's nice to have wishful thinking. The fourth Thug Kage, if you take a look at this, what does it say? How do you get Mastery XP? As per the English statement there, you can be earned by completing missions, raising weapon proficiency, or leveling up your descendant. There's even a video on my channel that explains this. So, help her by leveling up weapons, descendants, or doing missions for the first time. Okay, but usually in-game, the tooltips will tell you what you need to do, especially for Mastery. Just get her to Mastery rank 20 and that's good enough. Number 17 doesn't have RK, at least lore-wise. He might in future.
My shield has been damaged. My shield falters. My shield. My shield has been damaged. I will run.
What am I hoping for? Personally, Crit Cyclone, I'm just hoping that they don't nerf too much, because I think if they do, that will cause a lot of dissatisfaction with the player base. I know that they already plan on some nerfs, and there's nothing we can do about that. That's something expected, that's something that's going to happen.
My shield.
You know, regardless of how we feel about it, that's something they've decided, that's something that they're going to push through, whether we like it or not. But I would hope that they understand that
Shield falters.
when people have invested in something, they're not going to like it being taken away. And that's something they have to consider.
Do not fall.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. Hopefully they sorted out the issues.
My shield has been damaged.
I have heard from several Xbox people that they were unable to get in, so hopefully now the problem is resolved. Fingers crossed, right? I should hope not. Maybe they are. You can always hope for the best. 3D.
We can do it.
Well, we don't know what's actually going to happen. Hopefully, she will just be toned down a bit. Yes, Jeremy was an April Fool's joke. But you never know, you know? They might actually bring him in. I mean, there are people that actually do want to see Jeremy in the game, like an ultimate Jeremy. You know, like it's just skip straight to ultimate Jeremy. Like he doesn't have an actual like. Oh, thank you for the super chat. Give me a second to see it. I can't right now because I'm in the middle of combat and it doesn't show up on my other window that I'm using to consolidate my chats. But thank you very much. I will view it momentarily, so please give me that moment. Good.
Reloading. My shield.
Oh no. No, they've only said it's descendant balancing tomorrow. We don't know what the actual descendant balancing will be.
My shield has been damaged. My shield.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that. Let me add you to the list. There we go. Thank you very much for your super chat. It is deeply appreciated, my friend. Thanks for keeping me in business, man. I'll keep doing my best for the people. But yeah, there's no real word about tomorrow. That's why we're just shooting the shit and just talking, you know? Well, the devs do prefer money, which is why I'm hoping that tomorrow's thing will just be them making sure that, hey, you know, okay, we're gonna just buff, and you know, we're not going to nerf too much. Fingers crossed, but again, you never know. Because you got to think about why this change was happening in the first place. What prompted all this? It was quite literally the people that said, hey, we want balance because I can't use my favorite VSO when, you know, Ines is around. It's like, bro. You could have just organized a party instead of ruin other people's fun, but, you know, they didn't want to do that. They said, no, my fun matters. Meow, 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 meow. If enough of the population, you know, is the one making that kind of statement, then, I mean, we always say it's a loud, vocal minority, but is it really? Because why would the devs listen to them then? I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Into the... My shield falters.
It's all good. Appreciate the lurk, Toothy as Wolf. And we'll see, man. We'll see.
My shield falters. Oh no.
What I will say is that, look, I view both statements as correct. It's true that we do not own.
A new member has arrived.
Thank you for the gifted memberships, my friend. I appreciate that, Chris. I'll add you to the list in a second. But addressing the topic of ownership, look, it's true. We don't own the characters, the devs do, so they can do whatever they want with their game. But they also have to think from a customer service point of view. Although we're supporting the game and we ourselves do not own the characters, therefore we are not due rights, they kind of want us to keep spending. They kind of want us to keep playing. Because without a player base, you don't have a game, you don't have anything to sell. because their goods are digital goods, and since they are not physical goods, there won't always be a consumer base who nobody has faith in their game. So I think the devs will have to tread very, very carefully here, because as much as, you know, they have the power and control, they are beholden to their player base. So it's less an issue of ownership, but rather, do you want customers at your business? Because for me personally, you know, people often ask me that question. They say, why am I so rude to my viewers? You know, because they don't understand that I'm just bluntly honest. But people say, why am I so rude to my viewers if I want people to watch me? The thing is, yes, I do want people to watch me, but I'm also not going to cater to everybody, because I know the identity of my stream. I know who I am. I know what I do. What I am is a guy that's got no time to waste. So I'm just going to give you the facts. I'm going to say it straight. I'm not going to beat around the bush, and people like me for that. That's what people are here for. They're here for the fact that I'm not going to talk shit. I'm not going to talk smack. I'm just here to tell you what I think. Here's what happens. Here's how it goes. These are the facts. Do with them what you will. That's my job. Alright? That's what I'm here to do, and that's what I will keep doing. That is my role. That's my purpose.
Oh no.
Now, other people, they may have other roles, other purposes. That's, again, on them. That's not on me. And that's certainly not on you either. And I triggered the wrong thing. Damn. Oh well. But anyway, where was I? Oh yeah. So everybody's got a different perspective, but I do still want repeat customers. Although I am curating my customers and my audience, essentially, I do still want repeats. Same thing for Nexon. Same thing for Magnum Studios, who runs this game. They need to do the same thing. Armed Poet, first and foremost, okay, if you're just gonna quote Steam numbers, that's great, but that's not how it works. If you include consoles, yes, the numbers do fall off as the season progresses. That's pretty standard, because once people have nothing else to do, they take a break from the game, they come back, play it for a month, and then they stop again. So that's natural, but we have about, on a daily basis, between 20 to 30k concurrent users if you include consoles. You can't just look at Steam numbers. Second of all, alright, statement of fact is that there are also new players coming in. Some people take extended breaks. They don't come back for one season. They might miss a whole season. It's just how it works. Okay? So please be aware of that. So we still do have a player base, and if you don't believe in the player base, then you really shouldn't be watching the stream, right? You know, but I'm sure you do to an extent. That's why you want to find out what's going on. So I don't think that they're going to nerf willy-nilly. By the way, again, thank you, Chris, and thank you, Joe, so much for being very, very kind to me and keeping this stream running. So thank you very much. Let me just add you all to the list. Thank you, thank you. There we go. Anyway, let me say the following, okay? Oh, thank you again, Chris. I appreciate that. You're on Xbox as well. Well, I hope that the server issues are sorted.
Member has arrived.
And thank you for the memberships, Joe. Appreciate the gifts, guys. All right, just know that it is going toward more content, more music. Thank you guys very much. If you haven't checked out my music, these guys are supporting, then here are the links to my music on YouTube, my separate music channel, and SoundCloud. I generate AI music. I know many people don't like AI, but listen, my stuff is not slop. Give it a try for yourself. All right. I'm also even distributing my music on major music platforms, and we're about to release our second album/EP soon. So look forward to that. I'm on Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere. No issues currently, Chris I? Good. So hopefully all of you guys on Xbox can now play and have no problem with that. Now, coming back to the nerf buff thing, okay, what I want to say, and what I couldn't say because I was concentrating on Void Erosion, but I want to say it now since the discussion is kicking off a little bit again. Okay, nerfs may happen in some games. Now, this is a bit of a unique situation because the TFD devs have not done any nerfs. So this is going to be their first trial by fire. If tomorrow there's a serious player base drop because of the nerfs, and the nerfs outweigh the good that comes in the buffs, then they will have a problem. That being said, in a twisted way, the buffs, if they are to characters that are unused, might actually tempt some people to come back and play those characters. So we'll have to see what the player base looks like following this change and how the game goes after that. Now, the main important thing is we don't know how a nerf is going to perform. There's a lot of people that have, thrown in the towel. They quit the game. They say, yeah, it's over, man, whatever. Okay, they could be right, but we don't know for sure because this is literally the first true nerf that we are going through, if there is indeed one tomorrow. Of course, devs could get cold feet, and then tomorrow you see the patch notes, it's only buffs. Could be the case as well. What I would say is that if you guys are interested and you guys want to see what's going to happen, tune in to my stream tomorrow morning. As soon as the patch drops, as soon as the notes drop, we're going to do what we always do. We're going to go through it on stream. We're going to do a little bit of debating here and there. We're going to ask some questions, and then we'll figure it out from there. Okay? That's what we're going to do. And that is what we will always do. Because we are here to help. And we have always been here to help. But, we need to see what direction they want to take, how they want to balance their game, and how they're going to structure their future updates. Tomorrow will be very telling. I would say that anyone who is interested in the game needs to keep an eye on tomorrow. It could end up being a big disappointment. It could end up being not what we think. But regardless, you have to be here tomorrow, because tomorrow, mark my words, ladies and gents, some of you may think I'm being overly dramatic. Maybe. If you're on Xbox, DemonicCon, please update your game. Could be the case because I've heard that some people are playing just fine right now, but you might want to update your game. Otherwise, go to the official Discord. Let them know what your platform is, whether it's Xbox One, Series X, whatever. Tell them in the official Discord that you're having disconnection issues or you can't log in, whatever. That'll be the best thing to do because I can't help you here. I can't help you with technical support. Serena needs a nerf. I'm assuming you're talking about Serena because there's no Sharina, but we can't. I think that it's difficult to just say nerf willy-nilly because how are we going to nerf it? You do it too much one way, she's no good for anything. You do it too much the other way, she's just too strong. So, yeah. Well, some things in video games don't make sense market day. But yes, coming back to the main point, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And if they do make changes for the non-meta descendants, let's see how it goes. Because if it goes good, we could end up in a situation where more people actually come back. But again, it all boils down to what they do. Tomorrow is telling. Tomorrow is going to be the day that you're going to see a very big shift in the direction of this game. They are either going to stick to their guns and say, no nerfs forever, we're only going to buff. In which case, then we know that whatever the strongest descendant is, that's going to be the new standard for all descendants, which I think is very unlikely. What I think is going to be the case is that we are going to see a slight nerf down for some of the most top performing characters. It could be like you say, Chris, it's going to be instead of a 0.8 multiplier, it's going to be 0.6. Could very well be a nerf like that. We might see a lot of that for their characters that are overperforming and other characters being brought up to standard as they try and find a good middle ground. So I personally think on a personal level, that's what's going to happen. For me. Is it going to be the same across the board? We'll see. We'll see. They could always buff content too, but you know how people feel about that. And right now they can't do any serious buffs because all they have is scaling. People don't like scaling. They want interesting mechanics. As we've discussed and debated before, Toothiest Wolf, I would love to see that. I would love to see them add proper mechanics to the game instead of just scaling the enemy numbers because nobody likes bullet sponge enemies. They're not fun. But yeah. If they bring everyone down to Viessa, I will tell you this right now, Xbox links, everyone's going to quit the game. Rather, they should bring Viessa up, and all they need to do is increase her range. It's a very simple fix. Double her range. There you go. Listen, Finesse, I know you're a nice guy, but I think you care too much about the devs. Devs should be stressed 24/7. There is no need for them to have any mental health breaks or rest. Okay? Devs are like content creators. Work 24 hours per day. No breaks, because that is how it's supposed to go. So I think that none of these descendants that are mentioned are actually going to be the standard. I think that what's going to happen is that they're going to find a middle ground. That middle ground is going to be certain descendants that are above it. They need to set a bar first, and they're going to find that bar. It's going to take some time. Well, it'll happen tomorrow on my morning stream, Captain Grinch, 3 p.m. my time. That's apparently what I said. Otherwise, please check the official Discord. It's midnight PDT, yes, but please check the official Discord. They might have posted in your time. If they didn't, then it'll be at 3 p.m. my time tomorrow. Now, there is no right or wrong answer on this pathing. Because no matter what they do, even if the nerf tomorrow is totally minor, people are still going to flip the table. So it doesn't matter how minor or major it is. But if it's too major, it'll kill the game instantly. Because the people that are just disgruntled right now, they might choose to quit if the nerf is too major. So I hope that they understand this. Because there is always a critical limit. Right now, we're far from that. You know? Listen, Xbox Link, you can feel that way, but other people don't. Because Viesa is extremely slow for content, and Bunny is faster than her anyway. So if they use her as a bar, then even Bunny's going to be nerfed down, FYI. They're going to give everybody damage, but not speed. That doesn't make sense to me. You can't set Viesa as a bar. Viesa is literally trashed here in terms of speed farming. And she's only barely passable as a boss. Then Haley's also going to get nerfed down. So it means all these other characters are going to get nerfed down? I don't think so. Because if you take away, just because you're a Viesa, if you feel that way, that's fine. But you're just giving an opinionated thing. You're not giving me any facts and statistics. Can you prove that this is the best way? Can you prove that with facts and statistics, that's going to be the best way? Because I don't think so. Then in that case, it's just he said, she said, right? Let's see what happens tomorrow. All right, you're welcome to your opinion. But I think that your opinion is, if you don't mind me saying, literal garbage, because that is not how balancing works. And if they do balancing like that, then yeah, the game's going to die because they chose to balance that way. Don't forget that some people paid money for characters, and a lot of their revenue also comes from people buying characters as soon as they're released. If they cut into that, that means they've got less funding for the next round. I don't think they're that stupid. Because nobody's going to sacrifice profit, especially when your parent company, or rather the investor that you are trying to please, is Nexon. We all know how Nexon is, right? So, although this game is run by Magnum Studios, please remember that Nexon is the big kahuna. And when Nexon is your big kahuna, you don't cut into profits. Ever. So they're going to be very careful with this. It's going to be surgically precise. Listen, XL, trying to attack me personally is not going to work. I'm going to continue debating calmly. All right? What you're giving is an opinion. And just because you want to be right doesn't make you right. Try to listen for a second instead of talking. Instead of opening your mouth, listen. Because what I'm saying is that nerfs, yes. But you need to nerf in a way that is not going to compromise people's investment. Once you do that, you will never recover the trust your player base has in you. And they're not going to see this as the first Descendant. They're going to see this as just another Nexon game, and they're already fighting the brand image of Nexon, known for being the greedy corporation it is. So, how's it gonna go? How's it gonna happen? On a personal level, we'll wait and see how this goes. And you're kind of right, Chris I. They made a statement in the past that they were never going to nerf. Now they're going to walk back. Now they're going to walk back on that. Do you know what that's going to do? It's going to make people flip the table. And they've already flipped the table at the even mention of a nerf. Now, some people want to look Some people just want to nuke everything. That's fine. They want to feed into the power fantasy, and that's okay. The thing is, XL, you got to understand that there's a great number in the player base that want that. You can choose to use Viesa by choice. But a person with a limited time to play, let's say they've only got 2 hours, they want to clear everything as fast as possible. If you deliberately slow down the gameplay, think of it this way. Those people with 2 to 3 hours to play have the biggest wallets. And if you slow down the game even further and they feel like they have to put in more time to get less done, do you know what they're going to do? They're just not going to play your game. They're going to go somewhere else. And they've done that with other games in the past as well. So you might say that it's not engaging, the guns already nuke everything, but then I'll throw the same thing back to you. Why is nuking with a character different with nuking from a gun? So either way, what you're looking at is a choice. You can choose to play slow or you can choose to play fast. They need to balance both, because if they take away the fast option from people that want to play fast just to please the people that want to play slow, people are going to leave. So they need to decide where their money is. And I'm sorry to say this, but who has the biggest spending power? The people with the least time to play. They did not kill Xbox, guys. Xbox is not working. They're fixing it right now. Okay? Incentivizing co-op does not come from slowing down the game. If I'm going to get the exact same loot, I'm just not going to play co-op. I'm just not going to play. Don't forget, there's always a third option, and that's what people don't see. People are not beholden to this game. They are just going to not play. There are so many games out there that are already competing for attention. They will simply not play. So, as much as I understand the sentiment for most gamers, yes, we want a challenge. I do too. You know, I enjoy a challenge. That's why I enjoy playing the Lance. Perfect guarding every single one of Arkveld's attacks? Yeah, that feels fun. Sometimes you lose. Yeah, that's fun too. But this is a looter shooter. The main point of a looter shooter is getting loot, enjoying the game, and having your power fantasy. Let me give you an example for another game. Again, I'm a very experienced creator. I've experienced a lot of games. Do you know what happened in Diablo 4 Season 1? Their player base numbers fell to astronomically low numbers, and it took them 3 seasons to recover. They didn't recover until Season 4, FYI. And do you know that up till now, Season 7, people still consult my old Season 1 build videos? Because here's the facts. When Season 1, they slowed down leveling. They made sure that builds were no longer super overpowered so people couldn't nuke with Bone Spear. And even if you were nuking with Bone Spear, you still were slowed down artificially by your leveling. When you do that to people, people will simply not play your game. People always have the third option. They don't have to sit at your table. Don't forget that. If this was a situation where they had to make a choice between playing one character or another, you're assuming that they're going to make the choice of playing, right? But they don't have to play. And Ballistic, Viesa is not changed by RK tuning. She does more damage, but she already had enough damage before. The problem with Viesa, just to highlight it, in case anyone does not know,
I will not be afraid.
Viesa's biggest issue is that her skills have very, very small range. You cannot expand her range beyond 250%, right? So no matter how much range you put on her, Viesa's not going to get the same kind of clear speed that other descendants have. That's the problem with Viesa. No matter what you do, you still cannot clear that fast. With RK tuning, yes, she is made better because you can get even more cooldowns, which is awesome as heck. And I love it. But overall, she's just not that fast at clearing because her range limits her. That's the big problem. So due to that, Viesa loses out to a lot of other descendants, which is why I said if they want Viesa to compare, they should make her range, the base range, just increase it by 1.5 meters or something like that. Hell, double it if you want to go longer. Give her the same kind of range that all the other descendants have, and you'll suddenly see Viesa being very popular. It's a simple fix. And FYI, if they did that, do you know what? People would realize that Viesa is, holy shit, she's overpowered for farming, because guess what? She does more damage than, oh, I don't know, all the other farming descendants. Just that she has less range. we need to see what a character is lacking. They need to see that it's not just one factor. It's not just one thing. Even when you're making a nerf or a buff, you need to think about what you're really changing. Because I'll tell you right now, I've already mentioned it before and I'll mention it again. People are very, very sensitive to time. I tell you, now that we've got 2-second kills with Serena, okay, you make us go back to 4 or 5-second kills. People are just gonna sit back and say, nah, this is too slow, I don't want to play. There's already going to be a percentage of the player base, and I'm willing to bet on this. 10% are just going to leave straight up if they nerf Serena and make the Tormentor fight. Let's say the Tormentor fight is now 6 seconds instead of the previous, or say with the Ancient Knight using my less than optimized build because I'm using the wrong element, right? Okay. Let's say that they make it so that particular fight, okay, so now it's going to go from, it used to be like 8 seconds. Now it's 16 seconds, you know, double the time. People are just gonna say, oh, it's double the time now. Okay, cool, I'm gonna play Monster Hunter. They will rather spend 20 minutes hunting an Arkfeld with their subpar build because they don't have a robot build yet, right? So they're gonna do that rather than play this for more seconds. It sounds ridiculous, but watch that happen. Watch that happen. People will say anything about anything. At the end of the day, the key thing is the devs have to choose their balancing direction. It's not about who's the bar, this is that. They need to set their own bar. Not a bar based on a Descendant, but based on their vision. And I said that before. They need to set a bar based on their vision of what the game should be. And then they have to bite the bullet and reap the whirlwind. They will simply have to bite the bullet and reap the whirlwind. Well, I have to admit, my build is not exactly the most best min-maxed one, but yes, I feel your pain. You know, we're gonna have, like, tomorrow is gonna be a big decision day. Tomorrow is gonna be a day when they're gonna finally decide what the hell is going on. It's either gonna be real good or real bad. And they'll figure that out. They'll figure that out. But like I said, it's either gonna be really good or really bad. And we, the people, are simply here along for the ride, and we're going to find out what happens tomorrow. They are most likely going to buff the underperforming Descendants, but they also, to an extent, as we've mentioned already, they probably do have to nerf the overperformers because they need to set a bar. They need to find the bar. They have not yet found that bar. Once they find the bar, it'll be a lot easier. They find the bar, they're good. They don't find the bar, well, we gotta wait. Well, Victor, yes, that's exactly right. They shot themselves in the foot. Nobody dug this hole for them. They dug this hole themselves. Because what did they do in the first place? I'm all for reducing the grind. Them reducing the grind was good. But them literally, you know, going absolutely ham and deciding that, oh, hey, you know, we should, we need to, I think we need to cater to all the whiners. Okay, so they catered to them first. They watered down the content. So then if they release a strong Descendant, the watered down content's even easier than it was before. What they should have done was that when they balanced the Descendants through content, they should have been ready to bring up the underperforming Descendants. They have the data at their fingertips, but they chose not to do that. So now they're caught in this tug of war where they're stuck. Any decision they're going to make is a bad one. They box themselves in. Now they got to take it on the chin. After that, we'll see if they can recover.
Impudent bastards! Cut! Face the flames!
It's fine, Baron. Just enjoy yourself. Anyway, as it is now, it's all power fantasy. Player count will always drop, dude. That's natural. A whole month has passed since the update, so... Well, not a whole month, but you get what I mean. 3 weeks is more than enough for a drop, because people have already experienced everything there is to experience. Well, tomorrow, like I said, you got to keep an eye on it, because tomorrow is going to be the day it's going to be decided. Tomorrow we'll see the bar. Well, Ballistic, connection issues happen. If that makes you walk away, then I can't help you. You have to wait. I mean, we mentioned multiple times. You have to wait. They'll fix it. But game issues happen. Sorry. Sometimes the issue is Microsoft. Sometimes the issue is the PlayStation Play Store. But that's how it goes, man. It's part of gaming in the 21st century. You gotta roll with the punches. But if that is enough to make you leave, then look, other games have that issue, so you will probably leave those when it comes to that. Decide for yourself. If you don't feel it's worth your time, then you can walk away right now. I think that they will definitely have to take an L tomorrow. It's going to be a huge L tomorrow. Heh. Sure, Eddie. I mean, this content was good. We know because the player count tripled. But people clear content and then they leave pretty fast, so it's pretty normal. The game held for a little while, but not everybody was happy with it. A lot of people were expecting Ultimate Blair because they don't tune into my streams or read patch notes or ever bother, you know, doing sensible things like that. I mean, why would they? You know, it's sensible. Common sense, right? It's so difficult to find in this day and age.
Ask twice as a monster.
That's how it is. Yep. The whole problem was that I think, honestly, if you want to boil down to where the problem started, and Kia-kun, you have to wait till next season. Sorry, there's no way to get it this season. And that's why you got to play every season. If you don't get the weapon, you miss out. It happens to be the best thing for the next time. Sorry. You can still do Void Vessel without Voltia, alright? It just takes a little bit of effort. But you can do it without Voltia. That's what a lot of people are saying. If they focus more on story-based content, they might, you know, stand a chance at recovery. But we'll see.
Purification.
See you later, Adam. Thanks for hanging out. You're welcome, Kia-kun. The story was the main selling point this time around, and that's why they did so well. But anyway, look, tomorrow is just going to be a major deciding point. It's going to be a major turning point. We're going to see how this goes. We're going to see what happens. That's the reality. Well, yes, but they also failed to listen, Marlborough. They failed to listen to the people that gave better suggestions. You know, this was the problem.
Impudent bastards.
They overdid it. How many of you remember our suggestions for Molten Fortress? How many of you remember our suggestions for Frostwalker? Because I've stated this multiple times on stream. But hey, I'll say it again for the people. When people were crawling for a Frostwalker nerf, you know what we told them? Lower the movement speed by 50%. Would that have solved the problem? Yes. Would it have made Frostwalker an easy fight? No. It would still have a mechanic that you still needed to understand. But for those people that didn't nuke it instantly, it would have helped. They went too far. When it came to Molten Fortress, do you know what our suggestion was? Slow the fire rate by 50%. If that's too much, slow the fire rate of his fireballs by 33% to give us a chance to do all the tower. Right? So what they did, they made Molten Fortress solo. They overdid it. And sorry, Angel, you're not getting a refund for that. Yeah, I mean, you can go knock on their door and ask them for that, but I don't think they're going to do that. And I hate to say it, but that's the danger of buying. You should never buy a character. That's why the only thing I buy are skins. No danger of nerfing skins. But that being said, I understand your pain. However, they're not going to refund you, and they have no reason to refund you. If the game dies for you, then it dies for you. It's a harsh lesson, but one that you've learned. Don't ever pay for something that you may lose. In a digital good, you always take a risk. Because digital goods change over time with updates, and the devs have the right to change that. So sorry, but you know, you buy a digital good, that's what you get. There is no consumer law that protects you from the value of your digital good changing when you voluntarily make that purchase. The only time that you are protected is when the item is limited. It is a limited edition item. Yep. That's why anything that is not limited, I am very, very careful with my spending. So limited skins, the Korean law is very clear. They don't come back. Cool. So I can spend, I'm okay. But other things like characters, stuff like that, well, you choose to spend on that and an update changes it and it becomes useless, well, that's the baby you gotta live with.
Purification complete.
Well, Shane, I suggest you preach repentance to the people that whine. Because the problem of all of this, you know, all of this started with the whiners. Who knows, Captain Grinch? You should ask them. I mean, I'm still gonna be here. My audience is still popping. I'm still making money on this, so I got no issues. If people got issues, that's a them problem. Like I said, we're soldiers at the end of the day. We're always gonna adapt to the change. Whatever happens, we'll adapt to it, just like we've always done. We're Robot Nation. Anyone that wears the Robot Nation flag understands that.
Into the light.
You know? Anyone that doesn't, well, that's because they've got their own ideas about gaming that just don't fit with us.
Ask Christ, a monster.
When people first whine that, oh, Bunny and Freyna are destroying everything, do you know what I suggested? Why don't you form your own party? You are in a public street. Tell me, when you go outside into a public street, let me ask you a question. Do you have a right to tell somebody that's sitting down at a bench, hey, sir, you can't sit down here? You know? Well, if that's how you feel, Angel, then goodbye. You are welcome to unsubscribe. But if that's how you feel you want to take out your vengeance by unsubscribing from my channel, that's on you. Okay? Walk away. Because you are replaceable. People that, you know, act like that, they're replaceable. You're not a viewer. You're not a supporter. That means you were literally only here for what? My TFT content? You don't care about me as a streamer? That's even ruder and more disrespectful than I ever thought. So I'm really happy to, you know, not have viewers like that. Oh, I doubt they were anyway. I've never seen them at my streams nor at any of my stuff, but I genuinely just don't care, because when people say that, they're doing it mostly to throw a stream that is popping into disarray. You watch me, because after this update, even if the player base goes down, I'm gonna get more views at my stream. I can bet you on that. Craig's here every day. I haven't seen him either, so I remember every face that goes through here. One little thing, by the way. I remember everything that you guys have said, everything that you guys have done. I have perfect memory. So if you want to be childish and spiteful toward me, that's cool. But what will happen is that you will simply be banned for life. And I've got no qualms about that, because I can literally replace a viewer like that. And most likely, most of these people that are so willing to say block, sub, whatever, unsub, most of them use ad block on my channel, so I'm not really losing any revenue, because all my true viewers would never do that. They are flat bill. They're not curved. If you want a curved one, you need to get the baseball cap. The baseball cap is curved, but the snapback is flat build. So I can show you the snapback in a second. Just give me a second to get it. It's here. So the snapback is flat build. See? Flat. But the baseball cap is curved. However, I don't own the baseball cap. I did not like the baseball cap on a personal level, so I got myself like 3 snapbacks instead. This one's so old though, but I thought it looked cool because I ended up with this line here, but this is the original one. It stayed with me all this time. I even got the original sticker here, but yeah, it's flat. So if you buy my merch, the snapbacks are all flat build. The thing is, Arm Poet, the game already appeals to casual players because it's so easy. But the problem, I don't think it's the appeal to casual players, but rather the fact that when players get here, you know what the biggest problem is? They tell me, what's the point in co-op? I can do everything solo. And they quit because the whole point of games like this is to play with other people. No, I don't remember that statement, but if you ever made that statement, Chester, what I would say is that sure, you can. If you donate enough. To an extent, yes, John, but I also decide what I keep and what I forget. But most things that people say, or, you know, if a person's rude to me, I remember that forever. So if they come back later on and try to act all a fool or whatever, I'll say, like, didn't you say this on this date? Like, there was this one time, this guy, he left my Discord in, well, it wasn't a super nasty way, but it was just really unpleasant. And he came back a couple of months later, you know, tried to talk in our chat, and I said, I remember exactly what you said on that day that you left. I didn't reveal it before, but I revealed it publicly on that day because I remember everything. So, yeah. To an extent, I do remember everything, but I also decide what data to keep because, look, some of it I just don't want to keep. But most of the time, if somebody says something spiteful to me or something childish or rude or they are disrespectful, I just file that away and I say, okay, you know, you do you. But you ever come back and you try to talk shit to me, I'm gonna throw you out straight away. You know, there's a couple of people, and I still remember it to this day. Again, no shade to this guy, but I just want to say that I remember. There's this guy that you might see around. His name is Chris Baker, lead guitar. He's a musician. So when I first announced that I was doing AI music, he disrespected it. Then I asked him, why are you at my stream? Because he likes the content. He still turns up to my stream sometimes to comment or things like that. But I will forever remember that this was the guy that said, hey, he doesn't like my music. So when I look at that, I'm like, if you don't want that on your conscience, then just, you know, if you disagree with something that I do, you can put it nicely. You can say that, look, I cannot support it because here are my circumstances, or, you know, be sensible and give it a try, find out what it feels like, because hey, like I've said, I'm not putting out the slop, right? But once you give somebody a negative impression, it doesn't go away, especially if they've got a really good memory, because I can remember a lot of things that people said to me, and I'll forever remember that. Once you disrespect somebody, don't think it's gonna go unnoticed, and I won't hesitate to bring it back up. So just watch yourselves. Just because I got 100 viewers doesn't mean I'm not memorizing 100 things that people are saying. Okay? Just be careful. Now, coming back to the point of what we were discussing, look, whatever happens tomorrow will happen. We'll see the fallout after that. And that's totally cool, man. Like I said, I'm going to be experimenting with a lot of different sounds. Like my next, after what I'm done with this Metal Fairy Tales, I'm going to go into Metalcore. That might be somebody's taste, might not be somebody else's taste. And after that, I'm going to go into Fantasy Metal. Then that might be somebody else's taste, might not be somebody else's taste, you know? That's how it goes. As long as you're willing to give it a chance, you know, there's nothing bad with that. Even if it's, right now, it's not personally your taste, it's cool. There might be something else later down the line. I'm relaxed. Because I'm always checking, I'm always improving, always evolving. I'm always changing. Because I'm not tied down to a band, so it's not like we only have one sound, you know? I've got a lot of different sounds that I want to experiment with. Hell, I might even do some country at some point. You never know. You never know. Well, the thing is that Arm Poet, if we want to talk about time gating, all right, and this is the one thing that I absolutely despise because I have to fact check everybody on this. Warframe has the same time gating that TFD has. In fact, their time gating is worse than Warframe. Anybody who comes here from Warframe says, wow, this is pretty fast compared to Warframe. Yet Warframe right now has, how many players does Warframe have? Let's check it out on Steam alone. 60,000. Their player base is practically 60,000 and rarely ever dips below the 50K. So the argument that the time gating and all this, it's just a personal thing. But this game is very similar to Warframe. In fact, they still have faster time gates. So if people say they don't have a chance, they don't have the time, look, to me, that's an excuse. That's an excuse. Because that, to me, is just people saying, I'm bored, but I can't find a reason, so I'm just going to blame this. They'll just look for anything to blame. Because Warframe has never changed their time gating, and I'm pretty sure they have less research slots than we do for free-to-play. Free-to-play here gets 7 research slots. So, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, that's not a system to get a casual player to play the game. And listen, nobody's hating on me here. Everyone's allowed their opinion. I don't even care, man. At the end of the day, people are allowed to say what they want to say, and I understand the frustration. Look, I'm just going to say it. I understand your frustration. Sometimes when you like a game a lot and it's just not going the way you want, it's not as popular, you know, as you want. You see, Arm Poet, that's what I'm telling you. He loves Warframe, but he hates this. It sounds to me that he's just a Warframe nutter. Oh, so they changed that? Okay, fair enough, Burnwolf. I didn't know that they changed it to have infinite research slots, but fair enough. You know, he loves Warframe, doesn't like this. That's a him thing, you know? That's a him thing. He's just a Warframe. He's just loyal to Warframe. And that's not a problem of this game not attracting casuals. We need to shift all this. You see, a lot of people are putting reasons on a lot of things. That'll be stages 28, 29, 30, Troy. Now, people are putting the blame on a lot of things, but we need to cut right to the heart of the issue. I said it before. If you want to cut to the heart of the issue, what's the biggest problem here? Kat said it earlier. I've said it earlier. We don't have a reason to play with friends. It's boring to play with friends because playing with friends makes things harder. You want proof? Let me show you some proof. Check this out. Tormentor. You can now see all the battle info, right? Tormentor. You can even change the number of participants. One participant. 57 plus 38. Where's that equal? 95 million hit points. 96 million, roundabout. 2 people. That is going to scale up to 185 million. And notice something else. Oh, look. His attack also goes up. Our defense doesn't go up, whether we're in solo or co-op. His attack goes up. So not only is it scaling 100%, he hits harder. Let's do it again. Oh, wait. 3 people. 255 million damage. Less than 100% scaling, of course. Of course. But his attack went up again. Does our defense go up? So co-op is the same reward as solo, but harder. For no reason. That doesn't seem fair to me. And this is where the problem of this whole game started. Because what reason do I have? Bro, before I even comment on Vermintide 2, FYI, I'm an official content creator for Fat Shark as well, although I don't play their games anymore. But I am still a person. That being said, okay, let me come back to the point for a second. When you have a co-op game, it's supposed to be more rewarding with friends. Co-op needs better loot, and I've said this before. There is no incentive to play with friends over playing solo because people are always going to choose the fastest option. With limited playtime, I'm not going to drag 2 other people through it. Now, if you triple my loot or quadruple it even, or the loot scales more than the damage, I will go in and play with people all day, every day, because it outweighs the con of having to drag somebody unprepared through it. That's what I would say. That's what I would do. We lack that. So everyone defaults to solo and people get bored because playing alone is one of the most boring things. If not for this stream, I would find it so boring to actually be like going around there doing Tormentor over and over. I just turn my brain off. I'm talking to you guys while doing Tormentor. Same, well, Void Erosion, I do have to concentrate, but I can still, to an extent, address chat. I can still at least speak while doing it. And you're right, John. If you get more in depth, it's literally a compound, complex issue. There's no one true solution. But there is one thing that does stand out to me, and quite frankly, the biggest problem is we have no incentive to play together. Games are more fun when you play with your friends. Games are pretty boring when you play alone. I'm lucky to have an entire stream to play games with, or rather, alongside. I'm not exactly playing with you guys. You get what I mean. Whole squad should always be easier, and it is, because the scaling of enemies' defense is not 100%. But at the end of the day, it would be really, really nice if we could get rewarded for playing with a team. I mean, they could always add those systems, but at the end of the day, Austin, we don't even have a co-op system, so there's no point in talking about adding anything to co-op when there's no incentive to co-op. It starts first with an incentive to co-op. Unless they're going to do an incentive to co-op, all of it's moot. Now, the reason why I don't want Vermintide 2 or even Darktide to be used as an example for this game is because most of those games, except when there's a major update, and Darktide had a major update recently, they hover around 2,000 to 4,000 players. Darktide does get around 4,000 players, and if you include console, they do hover around the 10K mark, but it's still a small game by a small indie studio. And FYI, in case anybody didn't know, I am still a Fat Shark partner. I still have my partnership. All right, I'm choosing not to do content for them right now, but I still have my partnership. I can go back anytime. Oh, listen, Warfighter, most of my friends have stopped playing this game because it's boring doing it alone. You really need to sit down and grind it, and people don't really have an incentive to play co-op. And as a content creator, I also can't stop and help a lot of my friends because I have certain things and objectives to do for the viewers. So, yeah. I don't want them to end up like Vermintide. I don't want them to end up like Darktide. I hope that they understand that they need to find a direction for this game. And missing the good old days, I'm sorry to say, that's also not going to help because the good old days weren't exactly great. I certainly don't miss the long grind of waiting at an outpost for 5 minutes for it to refresh. That's not what I'm about either. So I don't really miss the good old days in that sense. But what I am going to say is that I do hope that they find a better direction for this game. Because that's what they really need, a better direction. If they find a better direction, then good. Understandable, Supreme. If there was a loot, I would happily drag people through it, you know? Oh, absolutely, John. And that's what we need here. To be honest, I love Monster Hunter Wilds. I absolutely love it. You guys have seen me play it in the mornings, and if you haven't, you better tune into some of the streams because it's so much fun. I'm loving the Lance right now, and I'll be playing it on Friday, FYI. So look forward to that because me and my younger brother, oh, we going for those trials. We going for those trials. I love it. I love it. Okay, but you know, that's kind of the thing we're missing here. We're missing the fun. We're missing the fun of the cooperation. Because when I use my Lance, you know, I have a reason to stand in front of the monster and say, fight me. Do it. And do you know that Monster Hunter Wilds has some of the worst optimization we've ever seen? And still, even though I'm losing frames, I will happily play with other people and stand in front of the monster and tank it because it feels fulfilling. Then everybody else gets to wail on the monster and we get to kill it faster rather than me just sitting there alone and doing it. It's so boring. I can't wait for G rank either. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I hope you guys will tune into my Monster Hunter streams, all right? I got to catch some of you there, all right? But anyway, this is what we're missing here. There is no feeling of wanting to co-op. We need to have like that co-op fun. I don't know. Right now, it's just hard because the hardcore gamers, you know, Warfighter, I hear what you're saying. The hardcore gamers you know, we're used to different things compared to the casual player base, but we also need the casual player base because, you know, and I do agree with what Arm Poet said earlier to an extent. We do need the casuals to keep this game running. Sure, we cannot satisfy the whiners all the time, but you are going to have a population of players that just kind of want to relax, play the game, and enjoy themselves. And if you don't cater to that player base, they're the ones with the biggest wallets. They're the ones with the most disposable income, and they're going to spend and play your game. Fingers crossed. Ballistic, I hope so for you. Hello, Davros. Now, we're going to end the stream shortly, by the way. Thank you guys very much. This entire stream has gone by so fast with all of our discussions and things like that. I literally spent most of it just shooting Tormentor, but, you know, it's been really nice seeing all of you guys here. New party request. New. Sorry, if I don't know you and you're not one of my top supporters, I ain't partying with you. But anyway, the point is, look, I appreciate everything that you guys have said and the opinions we've shared. You know? That's why I have these discussions, because I'm willing to hear you guys out. I have no power to change anything. But if we talk about it, maybe we can figure out a way forward. However, before I end this stream, I have something very important to tell you guys. And it's not my music advertisement, okay? That'll come in a little while. But I do have something very important to tell you guys that you must understand. Look, if we want positive change, the changes that we want to happen, then discussing it in my stream, as awesome as it is, and this is probably one of the only places where you're going to have a proper discussion, you need to actually go to the official Discord and Reddit. We need to fight back against the people that are ruining our game. You see somebody out there saying some shit about, you know, how Bunny's too fast, blah, 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 blah. Tell them the truth. Tell them that maybe they should organize a party. Maybe they should step out of their anxiety shoes and say, maybe I should organize a party of people, because guess what? Maybe they'll make some friends along the way too, and the game will be less boring. If they keep clicking on public, everyone has the right to be in public. When you click on public, you accept the fact that somebody might be playing a fast Descendant and just wants to get that done fast. And to an extent, they're actually doing community service by choosing to go public and maybe helping other people out. Or they could be just ruining your game by not letting you pick up even loot and just rushing to the end, which, look, happens as well. But it's a public space. If somebody in a public street, you know, does something that you disagree with, what do? Most of the time you walk away, right? Because it's a public space. You know that you don't want to get both of you in trouble. But if you stand up and, you know, try to make some positive change happens, things happen. All right? At the very least, you know, here you have a platform and a forum to actually talk to these people. Although it's Reddit and the official Discord. Try, do your best. Let's try and make the changes in this game as positive as possible. That's what I have these streams for. I talk to people because at the end of the day, I want people to have their say. And even if I call them out for saying it, I don't ban them, because at the end of the day, they're having their say. I'll say, look, this is your opinion. I disagree with your opinion, but I'm still not going to throw you out. At the end of the day, you're allowed to have your say. And that's what these streams are for, to have your say. But remember that the action needs to be taken by you guys. At the end of the day, what you take away from my stream, positive, negative, doesn't matter. But speak about what you want to see, and let's try and save this game and make it greater. If you post an idea and it's good, people will rally behind you. And then maybe we can see some better changes. But you got to get the ball rolling. Power's in each and every one of your hands, not mine. I'm just here to facilitate. And I'm here to guide you, but that's all I can do. I can only guide you. The real action comes from you guys, okay? So take up arms, take up action if you can, and hopefully it'll help. Well, a lot of people say Reddit is a waste, but they seem to go to Reddit pretty often as well. I don't know, man. Look, at the end of the day, go wherever you're comfortable and fight the battle where you're comfortable. At least you can choose your battleground. A lot of people, unfortunately, get shouted down in the official Discord too, but you got to withstand that. Be brave. And maybe we can save our game. Maybe. All right? Due to professional reasons, I cannot be the one speaking in the official Discord, because I know a lot of people will rally behind me, but at the same time, it could be disruptive, and therefore I do not do that. You'll notice a lot of professional creators don't do that either. We let our people talk, so yeah. Anyway, thank you very much for watching the stream today. It's been an absolutely pleasant time. I hope you guys have learned a lot. I hope you guys have shared your opinions and gotten a chance to think about what has been said. Let's finish out the polls with 353 votes. We currently have 38% of people thinking there's going to be both nerfs and buffs tomorrow. That's probably what's going to happen. 23% of people are very positive. They think that's only going to be buffs. 21% of people think it's going to be nerfs. So they're the pessimists in our crew. That's also okay. And 60% said we're going to get Ultimate Jeremy tomorrow. I'm hoping for that. I'm hoping for that. All right. Thank you all very much. And Joe, it was a great stream. Thank you guys so much for supporting the stream. I appreciated all the super chats and all that. Thank you very much for making this a great time. All right. We'll have some more fun tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be a full day of TFD. It'll be a morning and evening stream because of the update as well. So we will take a look at things then. All right. Let's find out what happens tomorrow. Tomorrow's D-Day. I'll see you guys bright and early. All right. And before we go, don't forget, if you haven't already, please do check out my music. Early releases are on YouTube, all right, and SoundCloud. However, official releases are already on Spotify, Apple Music. Only my first EP is there, but my second EP is going to be coming very, very soon. So if you haven't found me on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, whatever your taste is, all right, all the links are in my stream description. I'm just going to post Spotify here, but we've also got Amazon Music, Apple Music, everywhere, all right? Come support the music. Even if it's not to your taste, give it a try. You never know what you might find. You can try it again in a few weeks because I'm always generating new sounds, creating new ideas, writing new lyrics, writing new songs. All right, so we're always evolving our art. Look forward to it. Yeah, it's probably on Pandora too. Like I said, it's on every major music service. Deezer, Pandora. Just go look up Real Asian Robot. You'll probably find me, all right? Whatever you choose, I'll probably be there. All right. Thank you guys very much. I'll see you.